The following program is paid for and presented by John DeMasi. The opinions expressed are not those of Town Square Media or station advertisers.
WPG Talk Radio 95.5 presents Talk with a Purpose. Join the conversation by calling 609-407-1450. Now, the host of Talk with a Purpose, John DeMasi.
I have to make a little correction. I am not John DeMasi. I am Doofus DeMasi. And I'll explain that later on in the show, so stick around for that. Good morning and welcome, and happy birthday, America. We hope we continue for another 200 plus years. The greatest country in the world, in the history of countries, and look, I don't care what anybody says. That's the way I feel, and I'm sure a lot of you feel that way as well. A lot to talk about today on the show, you think? The Supreme Court, they did the show for us today. But we'll have Seth coming in a couple of minutes, and we have a special guest, first time on our show today, and her name is Kimberly Fletcher. She is the president and founder of Moms for America, and we're going to talk to her about what Moms for America means, what it does, what they're planning to do, and what this organization is attempting to accomplish in this era of whatever we're in. So that's coming up at 11 o'clock this morning. In between, we have plenty to talk about here, and we have our phones back. Believe it or not, we have our phones back. First time in a couple of weeks. And, of course, the number, in case you forgot, 609-407-1450. That's 609-407-1450. And also, I'll give my email out because I had a listener send me an email, and he said, well, could you give your email out more often? And I tend to do that sometimes, but then I forget. And then the show ends, and I say, gee, I didn't give out my email. JDADV1 at Comcast.net. JDADV1 at Comcast.net. That's the email address. So you may want to write that down because the gentleman, he said he contacted Seth and he gave him my email. So I'll try to give it out more often. 609-407-1450 is our number here in the studio. As I said, I'll talk about this Doofus DeMasi situation a little bit later on in the show. You want to stay tuned for that. But I guess the Supreme Court, as I said, did our show for us because the decisions they made this week, and I agree with all of them. I really do, and I'm sure you do as well. The affirmative action thing, we really should talk about that, first of all. The landmark Supreme Court decision, this decision that makes affirmative action a thing of the past for now. Of course, you heard Joe Biden say, oh, the court is wrong and all of that stuff, and he'll challenge that, and we'll see what happens. But there will be lawsuits and there will be challenges from the liberal left. But overall, it's a good thing, I think. In fact, it is long, long overdue. Now, I'm going to give you a scenario, and I just made this up myself. You're going to get, let's say you have a serious brain operation that is scheduled. And you have a doctor who is going to do the operation, who graduated top 5. Now, this could be male or female. Gender doesn't have anything to do with this. But it could be male or female. And this doctor is one of the top, and he graduated from Harvard, and so on and so forth. At the last minute, this doctor, Dr. A, is not able to do the surgery. So they call in Dr. B. Dr. B got into Harvard through affirmative action. In fact, if it wasn't for affirmative action, he wouldn't have gotten into Harvard at all. In fact, his grades were in high school, but he was a minority, or she was a minority. Now, you're faced with that situation. Who do you want to do the operation? If you said Dr. A, of course. What are you going to choose Dr. B? Well, I'm for affirmative action. I don't care. You better care. It's a matter of life and death. Do you understand what this means now? And how about the people who don't get into Harvard or whatever institution because they gave that seat to somebody who was less qualified because of affirmative action? So this situation is really, it's clear cut to me. It should be on merit. And we've talked about this before, and I'm sure Seth will chime in on this as well. We have talked about this forever. This really diversity is just a poison in this system. So, of course, the justices, 6-3 was the vote, and the three women, and I'm not picking on women, but the three women liberals, of course, voted against it. And Ketanji Brown Jackson wrote the dissenting opinion, and I just wanted to read this to you because it's a bunch of gobbledygook, which I don't understand, but nevertheless. She says, our country has never been colorblind, given the lengthy history of state-sponsored race-based preferences in America. To say that anyone is now victimized if a college considers whether that legacy of discrimination has unequally advantaged its applicants fails to acknowledge the well-documented intergenerational transmission of inequality that still plagues our citizenry. Did you understand that? Yeah, okay. Thankfully, Chief Justice Roberts countered with the majority opinion. The Harvard and UNC admissions, he says, programs cannot be reconciled with the guarantees of the Equal Protection Clause. Both programs lack sufficiently focused and measurable objectives warranting the use of race, unavoidably empty race in a negative manner involving racial stereotyping, and lack meaningful endpoints. We have never permitted admissions programs to work in that way, and we will not do so today. I think that says it all. And we're going to ask you to comment on that decision. And, of course, the other decisions. Boy, Joe Biden struck out this week, didn't he? He was 0 for 3. The other thing that they struck down, the student loan debt forgiveness. How can you forgive? Well, I don't even know what the number is. $400 billion? $400 billion in debt? And you're going to forgive that? So the Supreme Court said, not going to do it. And then, of course, the other thing, the other one that they struck down, the woman who has a website and she didn't want to do this thing for a gay couple, and she said, I'm not going to do it, and they upheld that. They said, oh, she don't have to. So, I mean, the Biden administration got a real slap in the face this week. But what do you think of that? Do you think, I mean, is this a step in the right direction? Of course, all the liberals, oh, this is terrible. You heard it. They just said, oh, this is going to set back race relations for years. No, it's not. How did a senator like Tim Scott, how did he get ahead? Did you ever think about that? How did he get to where he is? Worked hard? Studied hard? I mean, he may have done more than others to justify him getting ahead, maybe. But nevertheless, look at where he is. He is a candidate for president. I mean, and let's not give the example of Barack Obama, but he did rise to be the first black president. So there are situations all over the place where people have risen up from dire circumstances and gotten ahead without affirmative action. And I'm glad that the Supreme Court really struck these things down. I really am. And we'll bring in Seth Grossman because I know he's got plenty to say about this. This was one of his sticking points. Good morning, Seth. Welcome to the program.
Yes, of course. It's not about me. It's about libertyandprosperity.com. So whatever I don't get to, or if I get sidetracked, just go to the website and you'll see all the stuff that our members agree with and that we have our message out in a systematic way. But, of course, you're speaking to the guy, Seth Grossman, when I ran for Congress. And during a debate, somebody said, well, shouldn't we pick somebody who I believe was less qualified because that somebody would bring diversity to the Republican Party? And, of course, I was, I guess, in a bad mood. I said, well, diversity to hire and promote people is a bunch of crap. It's un-American that people should be hired, promoted, and given scholarships based on their character, their integrity, their hard work, and their achievement. And, of course, for saying that, I got my picture on the front page of the Philadelphia Daily News as a caveman, and I was denounced by all the Republican leaders. But it's just a common sense thing that in America, you don't get picked because of what group you're with. You get picked by who you are and what you do and what your talent and skill is. And the people who are hurt by this more than anybody else are black Americans who are talented, who did the work, who had the discipline, who have the training and the achievement. And it is personal because growing up in Atlantic City, you know, some of, I guess, my biggest role models who really affected my life were black men and women who had these skills and who succeeded because they weren't picked because of what group they were in. They were picked because of what they did. And I think of when I was in the National Guard, my first sergeant, Richard Briscoe, a genius who could fix anything with electric current. He could fix anything, and he ran a first class in the artillery. They called it a battery. I mean, we were the service battery of the 5th Battalion, 5th Battalion, 112th Field Artillery, and no, you couldn't have asked for a better commander than him, regardless of race. And the same thing with his brother, Carl Briscoe. Alice Carter, probably one of the best English literature scholars in New Jersey. I was lucky to have her as my high school teacher at Atlantic City High School. Edgar Harris in mathematics. Charles Wilson, doctor on the north side. Glenn Pratt, that we used to call them Mr. $50 because he could fix any washing machine, anything, better than any mechanic that I knew. So all these people who succeeded, black Americans, you didn't even think of them as being black. You just thought of people who could do their job because they had talent, they had skill, they had discipline, and they had character. They were honest. They did their work, and they didn't try to take advantage of anybody by using their race. So these are the people I think who are hurt the most by these so-called diversity or affirmative action programs, because now, when back then, when you saw a black American, in a position of responsibility, you said, "Boy, this guy really had to have talent to achieve this." Now you see a black American in a position, you say, well, you have to question yourself. Well, did that person get the position because they're qualified, or did they just make a quota and overlook 20 better qualified people to put this person in there? So it's a bad thing, and I just hope Republicans will keep fighting for it, because what happens is when there's a court decision that goes against the Republicans, okay, we lost the court case, so we won't try this anymore. But the Democrats, when they lose a court case, they just keep fighting and fighting and fighting until they finally somehow, get in through the back door. So, we need some determination by Republicans and by conservatives. We can't just rest on the Supreme Court decision alone.
You think Biden is going to fight this?
Of course he's going to fight it, and every one of their woke colleges are going to fight it. So they'll just keep doing the same thing they've been doing, except they'll use a different name, a different excuse. They'll say, well, we're doing the diversity, we're doing inclusion, we're doing equity. They're going to rig the rules. They'll use all sorts of code. This is what they always do. They will completely defy the decision, and it's going to be, those Americans who believe in merit, achievement, and treating each individual as an individual. The battle is really just beginning. This has been going on with affirmative action. I think the first Supreme Court decision, which was supposed to put an end to this, was called the Bakke decision, Baakae, in 1978. So that battle is just beginning.
And it sure will continue because already Biden said that he's going to fight this thing. So he's not going to give up. But I commend the Supreme Court on this. I really do.
Especially Clarence Thomas. He has been fighting for this for a long time, and he understands better than anyone else the detrimental effect, the low expectations, the fact that these white suburban women say, "Oh, I'm not a racist because I know that these poor black people can't succeed on their own. They need me, the white liberal, to give them special treatment so they could enjoy a good life." And that is really it's racist and it's disgusting.
I have a question for you, and this is from a listener who frequently listens to the program. When you say that the wind turbines are not going to generate anything, what are you using as how can I put this? What are you using as your guideline to say that they don't generate any power?
I never said they don't generate any power. I said they don't generate any useful power.
Okay.
And there's a big difference.
Okay.
And the big difference is that if you understand physics, and here I'm a lawyer, I'm not a trained scientist, but there was a time when anyone who got out of the 8th grade knew the basic of science. And the basic of science for an electric grid is you need the same amount of power in the grid at all times. So when you stick your 110 volt, microwave, you put the plug into the socket, that grid has to have 110 volts. If it has more than that or less than that, it's going to either not work or blow up your microwave. So you need steady, reliable, consistent power. Now, would you say that the wind provides steady, reliable, consistent power?
No.
And the answer is no, it does not. Sometimes it blows fast, sometimes it blows slow, sometimes it doesn't blow at all. So what happens is when you have a grid where the source is completely unreliable, and I bored everybody a couple of weeks ago when I talked about that physics thing, that electric power produced by wind increases and decreases exponentially. Now, you talk to somebody under the age of 40, they don't even know what the word exponentially means. But what it means to the rest of us who grew up in the Sputnik era, as boomers, it means that if you would think that if the wind is blowing at 20 miles an hour and then it drops down to 10 miles an hour, you think you'd have half the power coming from that wind turbine because the wind speed cut in half. But the change is exponential, which means it's a half times a half by a half. Which means if the wind cuts in half, you only have 12% of the power you had before. So if the wind is constantly changing, how do you keep consistent power in the grid? Well, you have to crank up, fossil fuel generators to make up the difference. Except for one thing, you just can't crank up a fossil fuel. You can't just crank up gas, oil, or coal. Just in an instant. It takes several minutes or sometimes several hours to get the thing hot enough to produce the electricity. So what does that mean? You have to have all this stuff burning in the background when it's not needed. So if you have all this fossil fuel burning in the background when it's not needed, what do you need the wind turbines in the first place? And then if suddenly the wind goes faster than expected, what happens to the extra energy? You see, you can't store any of that energy. we don't have batteries big enough to back up the electric grid. First of all, it's probably not possible. But second, even if it was possible, you need all that expensive and toxic lithium and all these exotic chemicals to make a battery big enough. So what happens when you have too much energy from the wind, they just have to dump it, because if they didn't dump it, it would just fry or burn up the electric grid. So the part about it's not that the wind turbines don't produce any power. It's either they produce too much power that has to be dumped, or not enough power, so you always have to have fossil fuel burning in a distance. And I've been saying over and over again, why not have an experiment to prove it? You've had those 5 wind turbines in Atlantic City since 2006. They have not done a single, and they say, these wind turbines can power 2,000 homes. Oh, yeah? Well, why not prove they could power a single home? Why not wire those wind turbines up to the science building at Stockton University and try to run the dormitories or run buildings at Stockton using that wind power, so you can measure how much of the wind power is wasted, so you can measure how much fossil fuel has to be burned to back them up. But they don't do that. In fact, they won't let you know anything that's produced. All they tell you is, these wind turbines are saving money for the Atlantic County Utilities Authority because the government writes a check every time the wind turbines turn. Well, where's that check coming from? It's not coming from money being produced by the wind. It's being paid for by increasing the rates of the other 98% of customers. So, they're not honest with us. They don't have any laboratories. Anywhere else, they'd have experiments. In the medical field, they call them clinical trials. We have not had a single clinical trial for any of these wind turbines or any of these solar panels to show whether they save anything or produce anything that's useful. And until they do, I think I have very good reason, even though I'm not a scientist, to say, there's no evidence that these things work.
So it's not consistent, really, is what the bottom line is here. They're not consistent. Right. Okay.
Right. And the proof of it is that the Atlantic City Electric is going around handing out these smart meters so that, it doesn't really matter right now. The wind turbines, the solar panels, they're toys because they only provide maybe 4%, 5%, 6% of the power. So if they fluctuate, if they come and go, it doesn't matter because 95% of our power is coming from the coal plants, the oil plants, the natural gas plants, and most of all, the nuclear plant at Salem. But if you keep blowing up power plants like we did at Beasley's Point, so that you have 20, 30, 40% of our power is coming from these wind turbines that come and go, we're going to have these power shortages. And the proof of it is that's why, Atlantic City Electric is handing out those smart meters. So what they're going to do is they're going to say from now on, you better turn on your washing machine at 8 o'clock at night. And if you don't, if we catch you doing your washing machine at 4 in the afternoon, we're going to cut off the power to your house until you get in compliance. If we tell you don't plug in your electric car until it's a Tuesday or a Thursday, and you plug in your electric car on a Monday, they're going to know about it and say, we're going to shut off your power because you're not compliant. And then, of course, if they have to make a decision, the wind's not blowing, the grid's about to crash, they're just going to push a button and turn off the electricity in 5,000, 10,000 homes at a time. So they're going to choose who gets cut off, who doesn't get cut off. And it's not like this is a secret. They're open about all this.
Jeez, it's scary. It's scary. Yeah,
it is scary. All right, I see I just fit in a couple of more points.
I got you sidetracked.
The Supreme Court decision on these student loans, I really think took the discussion off the main issue. And the main issue is, how did college get to be so expensive and so unaffordable in the first place?
Yes.
Because you and I are old enough to know that when we went to college in the early 1970s, any student could do any job on the boardwalk, any restaurant or farm in the state, and end up with $1,200 by the end of the summer.
Yes.
And that was more than enough for room, board, and tuition at Stockton, Rutgers, Rowan, and Glassboro, or any state school. And there was still plenty of money left for 7 beers for $1 at the Anchorage or Summers Point or Maloney's in Margate or the Bluebird in Atlantic City.
My college tuition was $800 for the year.
Yeah. So you basically had about $300 or $400 for the summer to enjoy the summer.
Right.
Now, I'd say tops, a student could earn $5,000 in the summer. So the student's earning 5 times as much. But all these state schools are charging more than $20,000 for tuition, board, and tuition. So you need a $15,000 a year loan at least to make up the difference. So why is it that college went up 400% more than the earnings of your average student? And that's the thing that no one talks about. And of course, the reason they do it is because they really trick these kids into signing up for these loans, thinking they're going to be making more money when they get out of college to justify it. But it's just not true. It's a scam. And in a way, I feel for the students, because when you're 18, 19 years old, and somebody says, "Oh, sign up for this loan because when you get out of college, you're going to pay for those loans with your great earnings you're going to get as a big executive somewhere." So if anything, I think Ron DeSantis had the right idea. He said the best way to fix this thing is let's have the schools. If you're going to give forgiveness, let's take the money out of the federal aid to these colleges that gave these stupid loans in the first place.
That's right.
And that'll teach them not to loan money to students who can't possibly pay them back.
That's right.
And what you have, what you have with the colleges, you have the same thing with the mortgage companies. You have the same thing in medical care. Whenever the government gives money to any industry, whether it's housing, healthcare, or college, it takes away the incentive to control costs. And so everybody's always spending somebody else's money, and that's the heart of the crisis. So no one wants to hurt the students, but we have this problem that is not sustainable, and I'm hoping this decision will force us to hold the people who are causing the mess to be accountable, and that's your Stockton University, and that's your Rutgers, that's your Rowan, that's all these big Ivy League schools. So we've got to put the focus there.
Okay.
And then, of course, that left I guess 2 minutes to talk what I really want to talk about. But with the ocean wind turbines, yesterday there was really good, bad, and ugly as to what happened with the wind turbines. What happened yesterday is that the New Jersey State Senate voted 21-16, a majority is 20. So by just one vote, the State Senate agreed to give Ørsted wind turbines certain tax credits it was not entitled to give them more money for the projects. All 15 Republicans that voted against it in the Assembly, where you needed 40 votes to pass, it was 44 Democrats voted for the extra gift to Ørsted. All 31 Republicans voted against that. Now, that is, even though it's bad, there's a silver lining, because the vote was so close that even the Washington Post noted that the whole wind turbine project is in trouble, because all the Republicans have to do now is hold firm and identify the handful of Democrats who push this thing over the top. If the Republicans in New Jersey can defeat just 5 or 6 of those Democrats who voted for the wind turbines, there's a chance that they could bring the whole project to a stop within 6 months. So I'm looking at that, and I think I can't praise the opponents of the wind turbines enough. Protect our coast and Ocean City, defend Brigantine Beach, save LBI, Vince Sarah Brigantine, Vince Palestina, Michael Testa. I know I'm forgetting a bunch of people, but they did a heroic job, and we've got to keep the pressure on. The wind turbine postcards that explain all this are still available at our Summers Point office. Go to our website, pick up the cards, hand out the cards to everybody that you know. The one thing that was disappointing was the Atlantic County Commissioners. You have 7 Republicans, and you have, I believe, and 2 Democrats, So all they had was one job. All they had to do was pass a simple resolution to say, we want a moratorium on these wind turbines to back up what the Republicans did in Trenton, to back up Jeff Van Drew. And all they did was they just dithered in the headline. Instead of taking the headline saying Atlantic leaders seek moratorium on wind turbines, the headline is Atlantic leaders seek wind delay but not moratorium. I don't know what they were thinking. I have friends on the Freeholder Board. We have John Risley, Drew Parker, Frank Ballish, Jim Bartino, Richard Days, Amy Gatto, Maureen Kern, why they couldn't approve a simple resolution demanding a moratorium on wind turbines to be just like what Cape May County did, just what Brigantine did, just like what LBI did. Why they couldn't do it is beyond me, but we've got to expect more from them. So that's my final point on that.
Okay.
LibertyandProsperity.com, and of course now I'm late for the meeting that takes place every Saturday at Summers Point from 9:30 to 10:30 every Saturday morning at Sal's Cafe. Thank you very much and have a great week.
Thank you. Happy 4th. Seth Grossman, Liberty and Prosperity. LibertyandProsperity.com is the website. It is Talk with a Purpose every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG, Talk Radio 95.5. We'll get started with your calls right after these words.
When it comes to you and your family's financial wellness, there are so many things to talk about. We could go on forever. To help guide you along the way, Joe Yakovich has written a book called The Heart of Your Money, Inspiration for Financial Wellness. In the book, Joe talks about longevity, inflation, retirement surprises, and many other topics. For your free copy of The Heart of Your Money, call the office of Joe Yakovich at JML Financial at 856-751-1771 or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. For over 37 years, Joe Yakovich has been helping families throughout the area navigate the difficulties of a sound financial plan. You'll find Joe's approach to be different and not just the cookie-cutter methods that are prevalent in today's world. The path to your financial wellness and or retirement starts with a call to Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group, 856-751-1771, 856-751-1771, or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. Joe Yakovich is registered with and securities and investment advisory services are offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
And we are back here on Talk with a Purpose, and let's get started with our calls, which we haven't had for a couple of weeks. Let's talk to John in Ocean City. John, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Yes, good morning. I was watching a political vlog on YouTube, and for its backdrop, it had a neon blue backdrop on its stage, so I figured that's sponsored by Democrat Party, no doubt. And
yeah,
right. Its first guest was Bobby Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr. He was asked a dozen or so questions, but the two that interested me most were about vaccines and about reusable energy. And he had said about the vaccines, he says the countries that actually didn't push the vaccines, that had very low vaccination rates among their citizenry, but more or less stressed hydroxychloroquine and also ivermectin, they had short-lived pandemics and had the lowest death rates. Now, I believe that. But anyway, he was also talking about nuclear energy, and he said the problem we have with nuclear energy is the waste that's left over. It's more than just residue. There's landfills worth of nuclear waste. Well, that's fission. Now, fission is used to produce electricity, but there's also fusion, which leaves not even a trace of waste that actually is turned into helium, which is an inert gas. Now, I always harp on the fusion torch. The 1968 fusion torch, still to date, is an extremely advanced nuclear technology. But by now, scientists and engineers have made it breakthrough achievements in that it produces more energy than is needed to make it function. Its potential is unlimited energy. How the fusion torch works is that the nuclear plasma is heated up to such an enormous degree, it produces nuclear fusion, and you can put through gross material through the reactor, and out the other end comes the basic elements. It's reduced to its basic elements, recaptured and reused for energy. The reactor itself is called a tokamak. Now, It resembles that conical hourglass-shaped one we have at the Salem nuclear plant, but it's way smaller, and it's contained within a plant that's actually isolated, and actually it's fortified where nothing can get out. Now, it's way smaller, like I said. Let's see, there's 200 billion tons of garbage on the Earth per year. That garbage can be sent through that reactor and made it to reusable energy. Also, what else? It also can break stone down into aluminum and iron. It can produce hydrogen, which is useful in jet fuel technology. It can produce nitrogen, which is a vital nutrient in fertilizers. It can also desalinate water. It can actually break down the stool of a herbivore. I've said this before, and then rejuvenate soil. So you could house the whole Earth. You could light the whole Earth. You could feed the whole Earth. You could actually turn the nuclear swords into plowshares. Actually, with it, you would reduce the tension so low. But the problem is that you have to be very intelligent to be able to, work in one of those plants. So as far as this affirmative action goes, man, they're going to have to come up with a plan that raises our educational standards, man, because I don't want some dumb call. See, if you messed up at a nuclear fusion power plant, dude, you don't say, well, you don't come home and say, golly, I really messed up on a job today. You ain't going to make it home.
That's right.
And a radius of about 500 miles is going to be burned up too.
That's right.
But the whole thing is that we got trash in our oceans. Our 5 oceans are full of trash. We got trash all over the place. We got people warring over food and whatnot. We could actually it would revolutionize green energy. But I'm just sorry that Mr. Kennedy didn't bring that up. But I still would like to see President Trump take him on as a running mate, because our first Republican president did that too. Even though that guy was a snake, Andrew Johnson was a snake. I don't think that of Bobby Kennedy Jr. But that's all I have to say. Happy 4th of July, everybody.
Same to you, John. Thanks for the call and thanks for holding on. Talk for the purpose of the show, Saturdays 9 till noon, WPG, Talk Radio 95.5. After the break, we'll have Bob, and then we'll have Craig, and maybe we'll have you at 609-407-1450. I'm John DeMasi. More Talk with a Purpose in just a moment. But, of course, a good way to celebrate the 4th of July is with a barbecue. And how many people are having that for the holiday? You are, sure. And you go to barbecues and you bring stuff, and so here's what you do. You go to BF Mazzeo, 601 New Road, Northfield, or online at bfmazzeo.com, and you order some holiday sides like potato salad, coleslaw, macaroni salad, and all kinds of other stuff that you want to enjoy. Well, you can do that at BF Mazzeo. You do that, you bring it to your barbecue, and everybody says, oh, boy, you brought that? Oh, that's nice. And you tell them it's from BF Mazzeo, and you're a hero. That's all you do. BF Mazzeo, 601 New Road in Northfield, and online at bfmazzeo.com. And it's just incredible how many people shop at BF Mazzeo. I mean, the last couple of weeks, I go there after the show, and I can't find a parking space. But that's a good thing. BF Mazzeo, 601 New Road in Northfield. Of course, gift baskets, fruit baskets, prepared foods, baked goods, and specialty items. I mentioned to you a couple of weeks ago that they have a special freezer which is really dedicated to PNS pasta products. PNS, of course, has been in Philadelphia for many, many years, and they are really, really outstanding products. It's pasta, stuffed shells, all kinds of things, and they have a special, it's a whole case dedicated to that. PNS products, just another thing to add in at BF Mazzeo. BF Mazzeo, 601 New Road in Northfield, and they wish you and yours a happy 4th. Coming back with more of Talk with a Purpose in just a moment.
If you're interested in driving one of the finest automobiles on the market today, then you'll want to check out all of the fabulous new and pre-owned Lexus at Lexus of Atlantic City. Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. Driving a Lexus is like no other vehicle on the market. Test drive one for yourself at Lexus of Atlantic City. Whether it's new or pre-owned, you'll be more than satisfied. In fact, Lexus is consistently #1 when it comes to customer satisfaction. Visit Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. Or you can check out their outstanding selection of new, pre-owned, and L-certified pre-owned vehicles on their website, LexusofAtlanticCity.com. That's LexusofAtlanticCity.com. Or if you want more information, call 609-641-0008. Lexus of Atlantic City, now celebrating their 26th year in the area. A dealership that you'll enjoy. No pressure, no gimmicks, no hassle, no hype. Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. And remember, always online at lexusofatlanticcity.com.
Your WPG Talk Radio 95.5 AccuWeather forecast for South Jersey. A humid mix of clouds and sunshine. Today we'll have hazy skies again because of the Canadian wildfires. The high today 84. Cloudy, humid tonight with a thunderstorm, the low 69. Clouds tomorrow, humid, couple of heavy thunderstorms, especially late in the day. Tomorrow's high 83. Clouds and sunshine, a heavy thunderstorm on Monday, the high 91. I'm AccuWeather's Rose Tamburino on WPG Talk Radio 95.5.
And we are back here on Talk with a Purpose. 609-407-1450 is our number here in the studio. Let's talk to Bob in Cape May. Bob, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Hey, good morning, John. There's just a lot to talk about today. Look, the affirmative action ruling and Judge Jackson, her opinion here, she rightly points out that there are socioeconomic disparities. There's disparities in the terms of professionals. That is absolutely correct. The fatal flaw that all leftists have, they've had this for decades, this fatal flaw in their argument. You know, they point out disparities, but then they automatically, the default is the cause is always racism.
Yes.
And you know, that is the fatal flaw. And if you look at Judge Thomas's opinion, he's such a shining star here, you know, because he's gone through, his life proves, okay, that with personal responsibility, with involved relatives, his grandfather was really rough on him in terms of demanding that he get a good education. You know, that's what's missing in a lot of the answer to the disparities in many ways is lack of a good family life for a lot of young black men.
That's right.
And that really is the problem. And for liberals to constantly say it's just a matter of victimhood and that the answer is to place racial quotas before merit. That's poisonous to this whole society.
Yeah.
You know, when you have plenty of white kids that have had rough lives, and when they don't get the promotion because of their skin color, when they don't get into a certain college, even though their grades and their academic accomplishment says they should get in, well, how the hell do you think they feel?
Yeah,
you know?
That's right.
You know, so that's and you know the blatant example here is Harvard. That's who the lawsuit was placed against. The Asian students were discriminated against.
Yes.
You know, the black and Hispanic students that were admitted to Harvard would have been automatically disqualified if their skin, if their race, their ethnicity was Asian or white.
Right.
That's what it really comes down to.
That's right. Yeah. You think about all those who were qualified to get into Harvard and who didn't get in because they let less qualified people because of affirmative action in. I mean, that's it's ridiculous.
It's exactly right. And, you know, look, this idea that you know, our country is so racist, so horrible. We have people of color coming all over the world that want to get into this country because it is truly the land of opportunity.
Right.
And, you know, if whites were such evil devils, okay, why is it now? And this is the statistical truth here. East Asians, okay, they're people of color, whether they be Orientals or Indians. They now, their income levels are higher than whites.
Yes.
Okay? So,
yes.
Okay, so
yeah.
you know, and you know, these people weren't put on a pedestal.
No.
You know, they're very capable people. They work hard, and they got ahead in this country.
That's right.
So,
That's right. They don't know from days off, do they?
No, of course not. Of course not. Even the socioeconomic performance of recent African immigrants is really pretty good.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're a lot of them are very motivated people. They see the opportunity in this country and they embrace it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Bob, thank you for the call. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Craig in Northfield. Craig, good morning. You're on Talk with a Purpose.
Well, happy 4th of July to Atlantic County, John DeMasi.
Same to you.
I think the person that's probably celebrating their freedom the most might be Hunter Biden. What do you think?
Yes, that's right. Jeez. He's really got room to celebrate, doesn't he?
Right? I mean, look, the guy, he's not going to have to, he's not even going to get an anklet bracelet.
Yeah.
Look what happened. Listen, I told you, if I'm in one of them FEMA camps or I disappear, John, don't forget, send me that dinner anyway.
Okay, I will.
I might need a nice dinner down there. But a couple things here. Seth brought up, the Supreme Court thing. There's Elizabeth Warren. She came out screaming.
Yeah.
Did you hear her?
I didn't hear her, but I'm sure I can just probably write the script. So, yeah.
And somebody said, Elizabeth, sit down.
Yeah.
Who, happens to be what? On the list at Harvard as being an Indian?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's and she's a teacher there, and that's part of their minority status there.
Yes.
And I don't know, Owens, that black female, she came out and she said this case it would be like asking LeBron to sit down and let Sheeran, take his place.
Yeah.
Would that happen?
Yeah, no.
And I don't know anything about basketball when it comes to that. Let's turn the next page here. We got so many pages. Ukraine with democracy, they just said no elections for 2024. So we're still going to have that guy in there, that comic, who says that no church, please. The Orthodox churches.
Yeah.
Sit outside. You go out there and you pray outside. So when the Democratic Party talks about democracy, just remember that. And on those electric cars, I got to turn another page here because I've got to move fast here. VW in Germany not doing so good, and they're looking at nuclear. So what Seth said about those windmills, Germany's having a little problem. They say they're having problems with these windmills. And also, I heard allegedly that Murphy gets the maintenance contract, was somehow attached to him for these windmills going out in this ocean. I wonder why.
Wow.
All those Democrats voted for that.
Wow.
Something, huh?
Isn't that something? That doesn't surprise me.
How could that surprise you? I mean, really, John?
Jeez.
Let's talk about slavery again. I got to get back to this because I was kind of surprised. Did you know that Obama had slaves, his ancestry?
No.
Yeah. It came out, and it was in the newspaper, one of the New York papers this week.
Jeez.
Yeah, every sitting president was involved with slavery except for
Kennedy?
Donald J. Trump.
Oh, okay.
Can you imagine that? Huh?
How about that?
Wow.
How about that?
So how about that? Okay, so anyway, I was, doing a little research today, and then during the course of the weekend, I got a call from one of people that comes on your show once in a while. And it turns out that the Democratic Party in Northfield wasn't going to have anybody on their slate, and then two people stepped up. And I got a call this week from the one individual, and I was so proud of him for running for mayor, and he's going to run as a Democrat. And, I really don't believe he's a Democrat. I'm not going to mention his name, but I think he's a conservative, and I think he ran as a Republican before, But he said that somebody needs to, we have to have democracy here, and it would be unfair for our mayor to run unchallenged.
Yes.
I have to applaud this individual, especially after the press of Atlantic City, asked our mayor, who's going to be marching down our roads this Tuesday, they asked our mayor to resign. And the Republican Party of Northfield couldn't find anybody. I don't know who they asked to replace him, or even to run a primary against him. I don't even think they asked a person. And we know what we're talking about here, John, right?
Yeah, we do.
The misconduct that we had over there at that school.
Yes.
That you read that document.
Yes.
And that was horrible.
Yes, it was.
And so, why we're waving our flags, please put your flag down when Erlen walks by, please.
Yes.
Because that's not something you should ever celebrate.
No, you shouldn't. No, not at all.
Okay, John, I'm sorry to leave you on that negative note.
No, that's all right. Happy 4th. Happy 4th.
Happy 4th. Stay well, people.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Craig. Talk with the Purpose is the show. Saturdays 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I'm John DeMasi. We have some final thoughts. Boy, hour number 1 really flew by, as per usual. Final thoughts in hour number 1 after these words.
When it comes to you and your family's financial wellness, there are so many things to talk about. We could go on forever. To help guide you along the way, Joe Yakovich has written a book called The Heart of Your Money, Inspiration for Financial Wellness. In the book, Joe talks about longevity, inflation, retirement surprises, and many other topics. For your free copy of The Heart of Your Money, call the office of Joe Yakovich at JML Financial at 856-751-1771 or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. For over 37 years, Joe Yakovich has been helping families throughout the area navigate the difficulties of a sound financial plan. You'll find Joe's approach to be different and not just the cookie-cutter methods that are prevalent in today's world. The path to your financial wellness and or retirement starts with a call to Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group, 856-751-1771, 856-751-1771, or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. Joe Yakovich is registered with and securities and investment advisory services are offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
If you would like to email me after the show or during the show or anytime during the week, again, jdadv1@comcast.net. jdadv1@comcast.net. Send me anything you want, pros, cons, program suggestions. We take them all on. jdadv1@comcast.net. That is my email address. It is Talk with a Purpose every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. Couple of minutes left of hour number 1. I thought I would read to you a letter that Phyllis sent me. Phyllis is from Ocean City, and she sent me a copy of a letter that she wrote to the CEO of Target. Oh, you know where this is going. His name is Brian Cornell, and she said, "Dear Mr. Cornell, please close my Target account effective immediately. I cannot continue to patronize a business that is participating in the sexualization and transgender indoctrination of children. Also, since Target chooses to support the Gay, Lesbian, and Straight Education Network, GLSEN, an organization that promotes school districts keeping information from parents regarding their own children's gender issues, count me out as your customer. At this point, rather than viewing Target as a store with quality products, good bargains, and friendly employees, I see it as an enemy of American families and a danger to children. My concern for the protection of children and families takes precedent over anything I could buy at a Target facility." And she signs it, and she sent the copy to Seth and to a few other people, some folks on the Ocean City School Board. But Phyllis, thank you for sharing the letter with me. And really, more people should do that. And I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and we both kind of agreed that the only way to hurt these people, the only way that they're going to see this as hurtful to everyone, is to hurt them in the pocketbook. So really, Phyllis is doing the right thing there by saying, hey, I'm not going to shop at your store anymore. And more people should do that, even though, they've got tons and tons of things. But, I walked into a Target the other day, and right in the very front of the store, there's that pride demonstration. And it takes up a whole section. They don't have that section for 4th of July. They don't do that. No. Celebrate America? No. We're celebrating pride. To make them feel like, oh, they're inclusive of all people. Well, they aren't inclusive of Phyllis because she's dropping out. And so should others. Coming up in the next hour, I made reference to this at the top of the show. I should call myself Doofus DeMasi. I got to read you a couple of emails that I got. And probably these are the most egregious, really hateful emails that I've gotten. I haven't gotten this for a long, long time. And it's really something you're not going to believe. No, you are going to believe it when you consider that there's one in every crowd. But you're not going to believe this. It really is a juicy, juicy couple of emails. It is Talk with a Purpose every Saturday 9 till noon. WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I'm John DeMasi. Hour number 1 in the books. Hour number 2 on the way. Don't go away.
.5 FM and 1450 AM WPGG Atlantic City, WENJ HD3 Millville, a Town Square media station. WPG Talk Radio 95.5 presents Talk with a Purpose. Join the conversation by calling 609-407-1450. Now, the host of Talk with a Purpose, John DeMasi.
I think we should change that to Doofus, don't you? Yeah, okay. Hour number 2, Talk with a Purpose, every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I'm John DeMasi, also known as Doofus. And I'm going to make reference to that in just a couple of minutes. 609-407-1450 is our number here in the studio. We have some open lines, so if you want to jump in quickly here in hour number 2, not a whole lot of waiting. 609-407-1450 as we get back to getting you used to having a call-in number. Phones are working. Oh, it's great, isn't it? So I get this email, and I got to share this with you. And really, the person, I often wonder, we talk about Biden and how terrible his presidency is. And I often wonder if there's anybody out there who is listening who actually thinks he's doing a decent job. Now, some of the polls, this is 32% now. He's got approval rating. But I just wonder, what would make them think that he's a good president? And here I get this email, and I think he would pronounce his name Peter, but it's spelled with 2 T's. So maybe it's Petter. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to read this to you, all right? And he sent me 2 of them. And this is the first one. He says, "Hello, John. J for joke. Biden is number 1. He saved us from Trump. He saved us from Russia. He saved us from inflation. What? That's a good one. More jobs he gave us. Crime is low. What is he reading? I don't know. He is so kind, you wish you were that smart. He has a brain which you don't. I don't want to have his brain, really. Minions that agree with you are drinking the Kool-Aid. If you are a listener to this show, you are a minion. You rot the mind of people. The parts unknown, girl needs to be free from brainwashing, you did. Now Sarah believes like a nutcase. I think as you do. What the heck? Are you normal? My God, save us from the lies. You sound really strange, like a talking tree. I try to be nice in my email. The rain may hold up. Your brain is a blueberry. Your words are full of boogers. I always say God bless, even though I think you are a doofus. I wish you the best. I need some laughs. Be well. We shall agree on God bless America and keep her safe. Oh, boy. What can I tell you? So he blames me for making Sarah change her mind about Biden. I didn't change her mind about Biden. He did it all himself. And I like how he says he saved us from inflation. We have had the highest inflation in 40 years. So how is that saving us from inflation? I don't know. Yeah, he's given us some jobs. That's I'll agree with that. But you are a minion. You are a minion if you are following along. Oh, I just, geez, I just.
I got you next. Hang on. Thank you.
I had to read this because I knew you'd like to. You'd like me to share that with you, but it's amazing how some people take things and, your words are full of boogers. I've never heard that before. Oh man, I'll tell you. Now then, I answered him. I said to him in the email, talk about the pot calling the kettle black. I said, I continue to stand by what I said. Biden is a horrible person and will lead this country into ruin if he hasn't already. Keep listening. I need people like you to make us realize how many lies Biden has spread. And he has. And I will stand by the fact that he is a horrible person. And yes, he knew that what Hunter was doing. He probably told Hunter what to do. Hunter's not that smart. DJ in Summers Point. DJ, welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
How you doing, John?
Good. How you doing?
Real good this week.
Good.
Yeah, it's always good to know people on the Supreme Court, at times have a full brain working.
Yes, it really is.
And the other three, hey, enough said.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny when the Chief Justice kind of smacks them down on their opinions.
Yeah.
Telling them basically, hey, cool it.
Yeah.
Write your opinion, your dissent, and shut up.
Yep, that's right.
Don't go out on a tangent. When this thing about the student loans first broke, I said it was nothing more than bribery.
Yes, it really is.
And that decision yesterday confirmed what I said.
Yes.
Right. All those people that he was going to forgive the debt, that amounted to a lot of votes. And not just for the student that would have got their loan forgiven. It would have expanded to the parents because, my kid's getting a break.
Yeah.
Aunts, uncles, cousins. Oh, Uncle Joe, isn't he a nice guy?
Yeah.
Well, the bottom line is that the doofus didn't realize he didn't have the power. Now, am I saying that?
No.
No, Nancy Pelosi's saying that.
Yeah.
He didn't have the power to do it.
Yep.
And he got his ass spanked.
That's right. And I'm glad he did.
Like it is. He got his ass spanked. bank.
Yep, that's right.
And he didn't even let 3-4 hours go. And, I'm going to fight this. I'll come up with some other scheme, right, as we head into the election of 2024.
Yeah.
And as far as the diversity decision, I'm tired of hearing the Harvard, or USC. How many colleges are in the United States?
Yeah, many.
Yeah. Work your tail off, no matter what your color is.
Right.
Okay, and you'll come out just fine.
That's right. Hey,
everybody goes to Harvard.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. DJ, I co-signed for my niece for I think it was a $4,000 loan, and I just finally paid it off, and I paid it off. I mean, she didn't pay it off. I paid it off.
Well, isn't that what you do with any kind of loan?
Yeah. Right. So,
and if it's not, let me know, because I maybe missed some when I was going through my life. I got a loan. I paid it off.
Yeah, that's right.
Car loan, house loan.
Yeah.
Refurbishing loan, addition loan. I paid it off.
Yeah.
Right? I would just hope that this decision it will spur parents and kids to sit down and say, hey, I know you're getting out of high school, but really, what do you want to do realistically?
Yeah.
We're not signing for $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year for you to find yourself in college.
Yes, that's right.
Because, John, me and you are about the same age.
Yeah.
How many people do you know, your friends or your family members, that went to college, got a degree in whatever?
Yeah.
And are doing what they got the degree in?
Not too many. Yeah.
I rest my case, Your Honor. But you spent $160,000 and you're not even doing anywhere near what you got the degree in.
Yeah. Well, my degree was in political science, and look what I'm doing.
That's my point.
Yeah. Hey,
that's my point.
DJ, thanks for the call. I may call you up a little bit later on because I got a couple of police-related cases, but thanks for the call. Pete in Northfield. Pete, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Hi, John. It's Keith.
Oh, Keith. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Chris didn't clean his ears out this morning, so.
Well, either did Petter.
Yeah.
Petter has his head up so far up as,
Oh, yeah.
He can't hear anything. And also, I put in a request to Van Drew to have Military Month.
Yeah.
Military Month.
Yeah.
Not a day.
Yeah. I agree with that.
We
can go into Target. It's Pride Month. Jeez. I mean, it's okay to honor a group, but for a day, not a month. A month.
Well, I think the military earned a month at least.
Oh, of course. Hey, they really deserve a year because how many of them gave up their lives for us? How many?
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
We should have every year is military year. It's just I can't believe it, and I applaud the woman who sent the CEO of Target a letter, and she said cancel my Target subscription. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You can only hurt them. They only will respond to hurting them in the pocketbook. And that's what they'll respond to.
Hey, look, I heard that Camp Lejeune sales on their water is more than Bud Light now. Have a good day, John.
You too, Pete. Bob is back. Bob and Cape May. Bob, welcome back.
Hey, John, we, according to that letter, you and I better ask the Christian Brothers who run LaSalle College for a refund.
Yeah.
But back when we went there, it was absolutely affordable.
Yes, it was.
I have to say, we got great educations.
We did. We did.
It really did. But, look, this guy that wrote the letter now, and Biden repeated, I guess he's repeating Biden's lie.
Yeah.
Inflation, when he was handed the baton by President Trump was 1.6%.
Yes.
The GDP was growing at a rate of 6.5%. Those numbers are now reversed, which means the middle working class people of this country are getting the shaft big time. That's the truth of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the point about the college loans, this is so ridiculous here to make taxpayers of this country, so to make blue collar people and the rest of the taxpayers pay off the loans of people that took these loans out, made a mistake in a lot of cases.
Oh yeah.
And to just forgive these loans, okay? Why should parents who worked 2 jobs to pay for their kids' college, why should they now get the shaft? And why? How do you think they feel? And how about individuals that work 2 jobs while they're going to college and pay it off?
Yeah.
What about them? They're the suckers now. The people that do responsible things are always the suckers when it comes to dealing with these leftist communists that have taken over the Democrat Party. It just totally asinine. You've got blue collar guys that are going to be paying taxes now. So these professionals, young professionals in many cases, are going to have their loans forgiven. Is this? Where's the equity in that?
There isn't.
What's right about that?
There isn't. There isn't anything right about that.
No.
I mean, and really, I'm glad the Supreme Court really acted on that one, because I mean, just forgive 400. What was it? 400 billion or something that it was going to be forgiven.
Yeah, exactly. And it worked. I'll tell you what happened though. It was an election. It was great for the Democrats in the 2022 election, and they'll probably use it again. And what we need to do as conservatives, okay, is flip that. You can't let the Democrats just get all these votes from these college kids, which they're going to vote for it. I mean, the turnout rate in Madison, Wisconsin, right? That's the most leftist city in Wisconsin. In 2022 was 80%. And that was based on the abortion vote for the most part, but also this forgiveness of the college loans. Now, this is going to be done again. And, Seth is so right here. You've got, in New Jersey, we have an opportunity to hang the green energy debacle around the Democrats' neck. If we can educate voters that their electric bills are going to double and triple in a lot of cases. These Democrat politicians that voted for these windmills, they're going to. They may get defeated if we can get the voters of New Jersey to wake up. And the same is true with the college loans nationally. We can reverse that. If we can get working class people who didn't go to college to see that they're really getting screwed by the forgiveness of college loans.
Yes.
Because Biden, they had a press conference yesterday where his education secretary said already, we're going to work around the Supreme Court ruling.
Yeah.
We're going to make it so these loans eventually are forgiven, or we're going to delay the need to pay as much as possible. So that's not over yet. And so... Anyway,
thanks again.
John. I'm out of steam.
Thanks again for the call. Thanks, Bob. 609-407-1450. We're going to come up on a break here, and then we'll talk to Andy after the break, and maybe we'll talk to you at 609-407-1450. That's our number here in the studio. It is Talk with a Purpose, Saturdays 9 till noon, WPG, Talk Radio 95.5, and I'm John DeMasi. I'll read you sometime in this hour, part 2 of the famous email from Peter or Petter, whatever he calls himself. He calls me a doofus. I don't want to tell you what I'd call him. We will get back to more of Talk with a Purpose in just a moment. But first, we got to talk about something good, something we all agree on, something that there is no controversy. The finest automobile on the market today is Lexus, courtesy of Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. And a couple of weeks ago, my salesperson, Helen, called me up, and she said, I got into an SUV. I drove your ES350 for a long time, and I got into an SUV. You think you'd like to try that? And I said, funny, you've been kind of listening to my radio show. And I didn't stop and think about it. Yeah, maybe she has, because I've said it a few times, thinking about an SUV, and probably will get that. So that's kind of the sequence. I kind of forget that I'm doing a radio show, How can I forget when people call me doofus? But that's another story. Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. It's a beautiful weekend to drive a Lexus. It's always a beautiful weekend to drive a Lexus. And if you want to test drive, stop over there, or first go to the website, aclexus.com, aclexus.com, and you will see all of the models, pre-owned, new, you name it. They've got it there, and it's all there for you. Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road, EHT. Again, the finest automobile on the market, and it's not me saying that. It's Consumer Reports and all of the other rankings of automobiles in this country today. And usually, Lexus is up there, 1, 2, or 3, or 4, right there in the top 5. So you can't ask for anything more. Don't ask, just go over and test drive. See for yourself. Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road, EHT. Stop by, ask for Helen. She'll take care of you as she did for me. We will come back with more Talk with a Purpose in just a moment.
I'm Seth Grossman for LibertyandProsperity.com. Traffic backs up a lot on Atlantic Avenue in Margate and West Avenue in Ocean City these days. These streets now have only one lane of traffic in each direction instead of two. Woke Democrats in Washington and Trenton call this a road diet. They bribe towns to do this by paying for new streets. They want to punish people who use cars. They hate when Americans are free to drive where and when they want. They want us to live like we're in China. This is against our Constitution. But who complains when somebody else pays for something we want? That's why our federal government is now $31,000 billion in debt. Our dollar has less value each day. Learn the details and what we can do about it. Visit LibertyandProsperity.com. Help us reach more people. Join our weekly breakfast. Donate what you can to keep us on the air and online. LibertyandProsperity.com.
During the break, I asked Chris Coleman, are you a minion? So I guess he is. He works this show. Minions galore right here on Talk with a Purpose. Let's talk to Minion Andy in Brigantine. Andy, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
It's a great day in Brigantine, John.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Petter might not only be who he is, but it might be what he is.
Yes.
If you get my drift.
Yes.
Yeah. It sounded like an homage to the Grinch. You have boogers for your brain, you have cobwebs in your smile, Mr. Grinch. Anyway, I wanted to talk about these Supreme Court decisions. The first thing I wanted to say was, thank God for Donald Trump.
Yeah,
because the Supreme Court we have, and. Joe Biden was asked yesterday about the decisions, and he said we don't have a normal court. What is a normal court? Is that a court that always sides with the Democrats?
Yeah,
like Barack Obama. How many times did Barack Obama admonish the court and tell them that the court needs to do, quote, the right thing.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. The court does the right thing when they follow the Constitution.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they follow the Constitution, the Democrats lose. But is it still not the right thing?
Yeah. Well, according to them, yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So let's go through these because I haven't been able to listen to the whole show, so I don't know if they were all mentioned. I think the one that's not getting mentioned is this 303 decision. So this is the Colorado woman named Lori Smith.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you talk about this?
Very little. I really didn't focus on that. So go ahead.
Okay. So I think this might be the most important of the three because the way the court ruled on this was based on our First Amendment right, free speech. So Lori Smith started a website business. She creates websites. She's a graphic artist, okay? And much like the baker, the Christian baker, who refused to bake a cake for a gay wedding because it went against his religious principles, even though this baker had served people in the LGBT community all the time. They would come in and buy whatever, and he would sell them. He had no problem with that. But he drew the line with making this cake for a gay wedding because he did not believe in gay marriage, which is his right. So this Lori Smith was asked to do a website for this gay couple for their wedding. And it would require her to use her own creativity, her own words, embracing this lifestyle on the website, which was a bridge too far. It was something that she simply could not do because of her Christian beliefs. So she winds up in court. It went on for 7 years.
Jeez.
Okay. So the court ruled that free speech protects this woman. Now we know that free speech in one way, where it allows you to say whatever you wish to say publicly without recourse. That's free speech. You are free to say whatever you wish to say, no matter who gets hurt. Okay?
Right.
But free speech also means, and this is what the court said, free speech also means that the government cannot force you to say something that you don't believe.
Right.
Now, think of the wide-ranging issue that this is, because we have people right now who are being fired, they're being canceled, prosecuted, and even jailed in New York City in a workplace. If you refer to a man in a dress as a he instead of a she, you can be fired, and people have been. You can be prosecuted and thrown in jail for using the wrong pronoun.
Wow.
So this ruling by the court is a very big deal, because now in the workplace you cannot be compelled to use the pronoun she when it's a guy in a dress, because you're now protected under the court's ruling, freedom of speech. You can't be forced to say something that you do not believe is true.
That's right. That's good.
So this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the previous gentleman was talking about and Bob and another guy were talking about the college loans. So we know that Biden did not have the power to do this unilaterally, because this would amount to a spending bill, which means that it would have to come from Congress.
Right.
Congress controls the purse. So Biden did not have the power to do this. And I maintain, John, Biden knew he didn't have the power to do this. Follow me on this, John. This came about in 2020. So Biden proposed this thing about the college debt, okay? And I believe they proposed this knowing full well that it was never going to pass, that the court was going to overturn it, but that doesn't matter. That's not the point, because it served its purpose. Merely proposing this got people to vote Biden.
Yeah.
Especially the young people.
Yeah.
So it served its purpose in that it won Biden. It helped win Biden the White House.
Yeah.
So now that the court has shot it down, even if it never comes up again and it blows up and it never goes anywhere, the intended purpose has already been achieved.
Yeah.
It got Biden the White House.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that, look at all the COVID stuff. All these lies that we were told during COVID that people are now admitting to, that they told us things that were not true. John, they don't care now that they admit that they lied because it doesn't matter anymore.
That's right.
Because COVID lies achieved their intended purpose, which was to destroy Trump and get Biden the White House.
That's right. That's right.
They don't even have any shame in admitting after the fact that they lied because the lies got they achieved the purpose that they were intended for, which was to win Biden the White House. So I think a lot of these things they proposed during election years that they know are never going to pass.
That's right.
That are never going to be approved by the court, but they do it anyway because they know it's going to get them votes.
Yeah.
And then after the election's over, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Andy, thank you for the call. Thanks. Well said. Jenny and Absecon. Jenny, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Hey, thanks, John. Andy couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
He explained it perfectly. These people will do anything underhanded, lie, cheat, steal, connive. They're snake oil salesmen, and he got elected. That was the goal.
That's right.
That was the whole goal. And what I want to say is he said a lot of what I was going to say, but I'll leave you with this very quick. Kennedy can't be bought, and Trump can't be bought.
Right.
So if you go one way or the other, you can't elect people that can be bought that are con artists like the Bidens.
Oh, yes, and they can be bought, as we have found out.
We see that. We see that. Trump, Kennedy, no Trump and no Kennedy can be bought.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say because he said everything else. But this was all a con. This was all a ruse.
Yeah. Jenny, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. John in Ocean City. John, good morning.
Yes. Then Speaker of House Harry Reid had been taken to task for having lied, which helped Democrats get reelected into the Congress, and he was taken to task for it. And he said, well, it worked, didn't it? So he was never, reprimanded for it.
Right.
And it was actually Bjorn Andrews. He's a bushcrafter over in Norway. He teaches you how to live outdoors and all that stuff. And he likes to talk about politics now and then. He says an American politician can never make it in Norwegian politics. They will get caught in a lie and their career will be over. But here in America, you get caught in a lie and it helps you. It's unbelievable. See now, so Pet Rockets, Pet or whatever his name is. He says you're a doofus because you don't believe in all the brilliant plans of Joe Biden. Like what? Like shutting off the Keystone XL pipeline?
Yeah.
Which would have delivered kids to the lower 48, Or spending $5 for a dozen eggs? That's cool too, right?
Yeah.
He was talking to Prime Minister Modi over in India, and he was talking about the grand plan of building an interoceanic railroad across the Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
Now, Harry Hurley had brought up the second one he had mentioned. That's the one I believe, I forget the woman's name. She's from Hawaii. And she had mentioned, she advocated actually building a transoceanic railroad from San Diego to Honolulu, As long as the trains can beat the tsunamis, there's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Just have those trains moving at 200 miles per hour, baby, at all times, and all will be well. First, you got to build it, you moron. These people are insane, I tell you. And yeah, we're not going to. Yeah, it was like Bobby Kennedy Jr. had mentioned the border, and he says President Trump's not all the way off about building a wall. He says, however, it's not practical to build a 1,500 mile long wall rather. He says there's key places where they come over where it's real easy for them to come over. People that are not registered as Americans, they're coming over here illegally. So it's not racism. Every country has borders. That's my input there. But have it on key places where they really come over in number, and also have, he had placed not agents but guards down on the other open spaces. But I was saying we have 70 70 military bases across the world. We can start bringing those people home and put them down there. That's what we should do. There's a whole lot of things we could do, and the Democrats have no answer. Windmill is inefficient. It should be put in the back burner. It probably has some use. Solar energy has some use, but it all depends on the electronic grid, which is dependent on fossil fuel energy. So how come they don't say these things? Because they're holding it back, or they're stupid. I think it's a combination of both. I think there are people that are purposely wanting to destroy America, and we have stood out or doofus politicians that are helping them along. Thank you.
All right, John, thanks for the call. That seems to be a popular word today, doofus. Oh, I promise I will read you the second half of this email because it's just as good. I'm John DeMasi. It is Talk with a Purpose every Saturday, 9 till noon. WPG Talk Radio 95.5. 609-407-1450 is our number here. 609-407-1450. Kimberly Fletcher, Moms for America, our guest at 11 o'clock today. We'll find out what her organization is all about. We'll do that at 11 this morning here on Talk with a Purpose. We're coming back with more in just a moment.
The market is up. The market is down. I know from day to day, there's a fair amount of volatility. You worry, I worry. We all worry, but not so much when you have a sound financial plan that doesn't depend completely on the market. Hi, I'm Joe Yakovich with this Money Minute. You'll find some real insights in my new book, The Heart of Your Money, Inspiration for Financial Wellness. In this book, I explain in detail how I approach financial planning, retirement, insurance, and many other topics. For a free copy of my book, The Heart of Your Money, simply contact my office at 856-751-1771. That's 856-751-1771. Or you can email me at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. I'm Joe Yakovich with This Money Minute, and thanks for listening.
Want to save money in these inflationary times? Write this number down, 855-910-1246. 855-910-1246. Text your number to that number and you'll be part of BF Mazzio's Text Message Club, where you'll receive specials and coupons that will save you money. BF Mazzio, the finest fresh fruit and produce you'll find anywhere. Gift baskets, catering for all occasions, and more. 601 New Road, Northfield. Online at bfmazzio.com.
Your WPG Talk Radio 95.5 AccuWeather forecast for South Jersey. This afternoon, humid, times of sun and clouds. Smoke from distant wildfires creating reduced air quality, high 84. Cloudy, humid with a thunderstorm tonight, low 69. A thick cloud cover, humid with a couple of heavy thunderstorms late in the day tomorrow. Air quality improves, though, with a high 83 to wrap the weekend. I'm AccuWeather's Ruth O'Brien on WPG Talk Radio 95.5.
Back here on Talk with a Purpose again. I'll give out my email because a listener emailed me and said, you don't give it out often enough. So I'll give it out. JDADV1 at Comcast.net. JDADV1 at Comcast.net. Email me anything you like, pro or con or whatever. Program suggestions, we take it all on. Even emails as ridiculous as the one Peter sent me, or Peter, or whatever he is. JDADV1 at Comcast.net. 609-407-1450 is our number here in the studio. We will talk to Bob in just a minute, but I want to make sure that I read you part 2 of Peter's email, because it is, again, a classic. I had answered him, and I said I would stick by what I said about Biden. And he said, well, you should be ashamed of yourself. You always go on the radio and spew so much hate towards Biden. He is the best person ever, and don't say he is not. Well, I will say he is not. He isn't the best person ever. In fact, he's the worst, okay? You, along with the conservative racists, butcher the minds of the innocent. I almost threw up when that girl Sarah started to say she don't like Biden. What did you do? Tell lies every week? Shame on you to trick a sweet girl and smash up her brains with garbage. I hope Sarah gets back on track to common sense. The minions that call every week are sad, so sad. Please talk sense into them. How you stay on the radio every week saying talking points. I am glad your phone is having an issue. Thanks be to God, people are away from talking. Ha, ha, ha. You are not so big now. I am not a person of hate or bad things. You're not? And I wish you nothing but the best. I hope the Blueberry Parade goes on. That was last week. Families need fun things to do. Have a blessed day, even though you are a doofus. Be well, and God bless America, and keep her forever safe. Peace. Signed, Peter, or whatever your name is. Oh. How do you follow that? Well, we'll let Bob do that. Bob in Summers Point. Good morning. You're on Talk with a Purpose.
Good morning. I rarely get to call because I'm normally in synagogue on Sunday mornings. But I wanted to call because actually today I'm overwhelmed with stuff I've got to do at the office, and that's how I had the time to call.
Okay.
I wanted to compliment the Supreme Court on their 3 decisions.
Yes.
Looking at one after another. The decision on freedom of speech. Imagine going up to Lakewood, New Jersey, a very highly Orthodox area, and asking a baker up there to bake a cake for, let's say, Jews for Jesus. They would say thank you, but no thank you. And
yes.
Thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah.
And that's exactly, to me, in their right to say that thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah.
This goes again. And that's one of the things that the Supreme Court ruled against. Secondly, I worked as a letter carrier in Margate. I drove a mail truck in Atlantic City to pay my way through college. And I'll be darned if I'm going to want to be paying for voluntary loans that people signed off. That's basically what you call in changing, what do they call in communism, redistribution of income, taking their debts and putting it on your back, my back, and the backs of hard-working Americans.
Right.
And thirdly, in terms of the affirmative action, I hate discrimination in any means, whether it's racial, religious, what have you. And I can tell you, and you're probably aware of this, but 1 to 2 generations ago, there were quotas in the Ivy League schools against Jewish students.
Yes.
And I know of doctors of Jewish background who traveled overseas to go to medical school because they were discriminated against because of their religion. So we got screwed in that manner. And then, because of our religion, and then comes along affirmative action, and now we would be screwed because we're white, we're Caucasian.
Yeah.
So we're getting hit in both. You probably never heard that aspect before,
yeah.
But we're getting hit in both means, and I'm really glad that anti-white discrimination was struck down, and I hope to see that it expands into hiring and into our general population, where you have to have certain numbers of people of one race, that kind of a thing, because that's so un-American.
Oh, it definitely is, Bob. Yeah, and I equate this to, if you were going to get an operation.
Exactly. Do you want your brain surgeon or the pilot of your airliner to be sitting up front because of the color of their skin or because of their aptitude?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Look at that pilot who landed that plane in the Hudson River. Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, what if
Sully is the miracle in the Hudson.
Yeah, right. What if the guy next to him, who was the co-pilot, what if he was flying the plane and he wasn't as qualified? Because that guy certainly was more than qualified. I mean, it's things like that make you think.
And I have the highest respect for doctors of color like Dr. Benjamin Carson, brain surgeon, who saved lives.
Yeah.
Who did it on his own merit.
Yeah. I mean, and there are hundreds of examples of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, this thing. Oh well, how are we going to get ahead now? Well,
when you push somebody ahead, you're pushing somebody back.
That's right.
And I think it has to be said, and clearly I'm not politically correct, but so be it. I said one of the few times I can get the call to you because I'm normally in synagogue on Saturday.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you did.
Have a good July 4th weekend.
You too, Bob. Thanks for the call. Oh, she must have heard us. Sarah, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Yes, good morning. I was driving and I had to pull over. I'm going going down Delilah Road, and I was laughing so hard my eyes were watering. I'm telling you, I couldn't even see to drive. I had to pull over so if you hear any noise in the background. That is just so wild.
Yeah.
And whoever the man is, and I believe he contacted another station too, saying the same diatribe and garbage, whatever he's speaking about. And the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is, and this, I forget the name of the show where the man did a speech about America's not the greatest country in the world anymore. And if you listen to that, he hits on all the points. He hits on all the points because we are not the same country of the Constitution, what the Constitution was founded upon.
That's right.
We are allowing ourselves to be watered down.
Yes.
Joe Biden pulled out our guys and left our equipment and put us in danger.
Yes.
The economy is not in a good shape.
No.
It's in a terrible shape.
Yes.
We're teaching the students in the school gay and critical race theories. Those do not need to be in the school. We've changed.
No.
We're not standing on the principles of the Constitution. And I had the speech, and it talked about intelligence, that we didn't belittle it. It talked about fighting for what we believe, fighting for moral reasons.
Yes.
We are celebrating people that, you know, dancing, and I can't even say those words, that celebrating, that's number one on the charts. We're celebrating people that are bouncing balls and celebrating people that are in the military. Someone had mentioned, we should have military month.
Yeah.
We have changed.
Yeah.
We're not the same. It's the Stars and Stripes is not as strong because China is watching us, Russia is over us, and we're weak. When countries look at us, we are laughter.
Yeah.
We are no longer strong.
You said it all. You've said it all.
We're allowing a few people to dictate what the Constitution might be ripped up because that's what's been happening.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
You know, you talk about gun rights, and Joe Biden's son, Hunter, he should be under the jail.
Yeah.
What he's done, if that were you or I, we'd be shackled up in federal prison.
That's right.
And he gets away with murder. And don't tell me Joe Biden never had his hands in what occurred with that plea deal.
Yes,
his
that's
hands
right.
is in there big time.
That's right.
I would take Trump over him anytime.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to see the truth, but I'm not ashamed to admit where I was wrong.
That's
now
right.
I see the truth.
That's right. So I didn't talk you into it, did I?
No one talks me into anything. Okay. I'm my own free person. Girl power.
Well, make sure, Petter or whoever you are, you heard it right here. I did not talk
Maybe
Sarah.
His name should be Pecker.
Yeah. Sarah, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Yeah, that was a winner. It sure was. Couple of things that I wanted to touch on. Scott Peterson was acquitted yesterday in the Parkland, Florida shooting. He was the school resource officer who did nothing while the shooting was going on. Peterson said that he hopes to one day sit down with the Parkland parents and tell the truth, whatever that is. We'll see on that one. The truth. Well, look, he got off. I don't know what to say about that. He definitely did not do what he was supposed to do. As we talked about a couple of weeks ago, he was a school resource officer, which is basically a police officer, and he did nothing to stop that crackpot from shooting up all those kids. But was it his fault? It's the shooter's fault, of course. But he didn't do anything to try to stop him. So I don't know how I feel about that. I have mixed feelings on that. Talk with the Purpose is the show. We'll talk to Greg after the break, and maybe we'll talk to you at 609-407-1450. We're coming back with more show after these words.
When it comes to you and your family's financial wellness, there are so many things to talk about. We could go on forever. To help guide you along the way, Joe Yakovich has written a book called The Heart of Your Money, Inspiration for Financial Wellness. In the book, Joe talks about longevity, inflation, retirement surprises, and many other topics. For your free copy of The Heart of Your Money, call the office of Joe Yakovich at JML Financial at 856-751-1771 or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. For over 37 years, Joe Yakovich has been helping families throughout the area navigate the difficulties of a sound financial plan. You'll find Joe's approach to be different and not just the cookie-cutter methods that are prevalent in today's world. The path to your financial wellness and or retirement starts with a call to Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group. 856-751-1771. 856-751-1771. Or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. Joe Yakovich is registered with, and securities and investment advisory services are offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC. Member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
Back here on Talk with a Purpose, 609-407-1450. Don't forget Kimberly Fletcher at 11 o'clock. Moms for America. What is that all about? Well, I'm sure we'll all be agreeing with what that organization does. Moms for America, Kimberly Fletcher at 11 o'clock this morning. But right now, Greg in Absecon. Greg, good morning. Welcome to Talk with the Purpose.
Mr. Massey, good morning.
Morning, sir.
You know, the nice thing about these decisions by the courts, we're returning to sanity.
Yes.
And
yes.
a true understanding of the Constitution.
Yes.
And I think what it's doing for us, it's creating questions that we should ask these people when they're running for office.
Yes.
Have you read the Constitution? Do you understand the Constitution? Will you honor the Constitution? Because it's obvious when the court makes the decision and it's based on the Constitution and Biden says, no, I'm not going to follow it, he should not be in the office.
That's right.
Period. And I'm hoping people realize that. If he's not going to follow the concepts and demands and an oath that he took, it's time for him to exit stage left.
Well, it's time anyway.
Out.
It's time anyway.
Correct.
Don't you agree? It's time to get rid of him anyway. I mean,
he's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
I mean, you get into the lower courts, it's like entering a maze. It has nothing to do with the Constitution at all.
Yeah, that's right.
And
that's
these
right.
people are given lifetime positions. That's something that's really going to have to be reevaluated.
That's right. It should be.
You never get rid of them.
Yeah. It should be mandatory retirement. Let's say maybe even 80, you know? I mean, but we've had justices. What was that one? It was 90 or something? I mean.
It sounds like a plan.
Yeah. I mean.
You know, the other thing, the laws that were passed back in the 60s as related to creating an equal playing field.
Yeah.
At the time, they really were required. That they had to take place and be passed that way. But they'd seen their day in the sunlight. And it's time to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what the courts are doing.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, you remember in the 60s, I mean, in the South, you couldn't be a black person and sit next to a white person in a lunch counter, you know? I mean, that was really extreme. And separate bathrooms and all that stuff. That's gone. So, you know, we don't need that kind of stuff anymore. And it should be
a world we were aware of, but never participated.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But now, I mean, it should be based on merit. I mean, that's it. There have been. Look at all of the accomplishments of blacks, and I'm not saying that it's the famous people, but you look at all over the place. I mean, there are blacks in every kind of high positions. So, I mean, it's not needed anymore. It's not needed. It just doesn't allow for those that are qualified. It takes a seat away from them. That's what's wrong with this thing. But
right. The other thing is the upcoming presidential election.
Yeah.
They say, well, who would you pick? I'm up to 3 possibilities.
Yeah.
Trump, DeSantis, and Carson.
Well, is he running?
Because why would he have to run? If he's asked to run, I think he would.
Yeah.
And Carson, because he has the ability, he has the beliefs, he should definitely be considered.
Yeah. Those are good choices. Yeah, I think so. But Trump and DeSantis have to be 1 and 2. That's what I think.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt. Greg, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. 609-407-1450. Maybe we can get a call in here before we get to our 11 o'clock hour. We didn't really ever talk about this, and I feel that it's necessary to bring it up now. This U.S. Marine veteran, he placed a man in a fatal chokehold last month, pleaded not guilty to revised charges Wednesday. The gentleman is named Daniel Penny, and he pleaded not guilty to second-degree manslaughter. I don't know why. I really don't know why he's being charged, but he is being charged with criminal negligent homicide in the May 1st death of Jordan Neely. This was the guy on the New York subway who was ranting and raving. He's a Michael Jackson impersonator, but he's homeless, and he was begging people for money, and he was creating a disturbance for a lot of the people on the subway. So this guy gets him in a chokehold. What do I always say when it's a white guy who attacks a black man? Oh, well, then that's a problem. Penny pinned the guy down to the ground, and 2 other passengers held him down, and they put him in a chokehold. I think it was about 3 minutes. And, of course, people take out their phones, they put the videos, and the question has always remained, should he be charged at all? This man, Neely, was a threat to all of the innocent bystanders on the subway. Penny was acting as a good Samaritan, criminally negligent homicide, and these were reduced charges, would bring a maximum prison sentence of 4 years. This guy, the Michael Jackson impersonator, was throwing things and threatening everybody, and he was ready to die. And he this should be thrown out. We'll see what happens with this. But hour number 2 is in the books already. Hour number 3 is on the way, and we will have Kimberly Fletcher, president and founder of Moms for America. We're going to see what that's all about. And I think we're going to like what we hear from her. Talk with a Purpose is the show, Saturdays 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I'm John DeMasi. Hour number 2 is in the books. Hour number 3 on the way. Don't go away.
95.5 FM and 1450 AM WPTG Atlantic City. WENJ HD3 Millville, a Town Square media station. WPG Talk Radio 95.5 presents Talk with a Purpose. Join the conversation by calling 609-407-1450. Now, the host of Talk with a Purpose, John DeMasi.
Hour number 3, Talk with a Purpose, every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. And again, it's always good to have you with us here on the show. Happy 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. And yeah, we ought to celebrate the military. We should have a military year, you know. We've talked about that. There's Pride Month and there's all kinds of months, but the people who died for us don't get they get a day or two, whatever. So that's how I feel about that. We are awaiting the arrival of Kimberly Fletcher. She's president and founder of Moms for America. She is scheduled to be on our show at this hour, but before she gets in here on the show, this thing with the casinos is really, this is a baffling one. Is casino, internet gambling, and sports betting short-lived? According to reports, New Jersey lawmakers plan to drastically shorten the length of time that internet gambling can continue to be conducted in the state. A state assembly panel on Tuesday amended a bill that would have extended New Jersey's internet gambling law, which was set to expire this year, was set to be extended for another 10 years. Okay. Keep that in mind. So instead, the panel shortened that time frame to just 2 years. Okay? No explanation was given. Top Democratic leaders did not respond to requests for comment Tuesday and Wednesday. It is unclear when a final vote might be held. But 2 years versus 10? I mean, what is this, huh? What is this? 10 years, 2 years? Something smells here. I mean, something smells, and it's, you know, I got to believe there's some underlying thing here, and somebody wants a deal. What that deal is, I don't know. But we'll see. We'll follow this, because if internet gambling is only gone for 2 more years, well, what's going to happen in 2 years? They're going to want something else? I don't know. So we'll see. We have Rich Barely on the line. Rich, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Hey, John. Happy 4th of July weekend.
Same to you.
I'm out here behind Longport fishing with my son. We got 2 nice keepers on board, and it's fantastic. I'll tell you what, I'm really enjoying your show. And that girl, Sarah, she's been on the radio for years. She sounds like she's finally coming around and realizing what the reality is. It's refreshing to hear her now.
Yeah, it really is. No.
I know you've been talking to her for years. You must be amazing. I mean, I'm pleasantly pleased that, how she's woken up. But I'll tell you, I called to express my absolute disgust with the voting that took place with the further squandering our taxpayer money on these windmills that do not work. And it's just a disgrace. And we should all remember that when we're voting. At the end of the day, these politicians got to look in the mirror when our rates are going to triple. And it's just insane because, like I said, I'm out here fishing. It's going to destroy the commercial fishing and fishing on the reefs and all along when these windmills, 1,000-foot windmills, are right off our beach, and we will not be able to go in those waters. and the emission of the vibrations and the electrodes that are in the water, it's been proven that they're going to negatively impact the fishing as well. But, if people don't care about killing whales and, all the negative effects, just wait until you're paying 3 times the amount for the electricity.
Yeah.
I just am disgusted. I've been putting signs up everywhere. I'm a member of Protect Our Coast, Defend Brigantine, and Save LBI. We've been fighting tooth and nail, people, to stop this. And, the fight's not over. There's several lawsuits that have been filed. And so, we lost a battle, a major battle of these politicians, voting to pay for it. If the windmills were so good, they would not need any of this taxpayer money, would they?
No. It's interesting, Rich. We haven't really talked about tourism. I have a woman that goes to my doctor. Now, listen to this. She's from Philadelphia. I go to this doctor in Marlton. All right, so we're sitting in that area, and she says, I'm not going down the shore if those windmills are there. Are they there yet? She said that to me the other day. Are the windmills there yet? I mean, so that's going to affect tourism.
It absolutely will. It'll affect the values of real estate, and they're projecting a 15% drop, which will equate to about $1 billion in loss of tourism revenue. For what?
Yeah.
An unproven system?
Yeah.
Windmills were never meant to be a primary source of energy. And we've got nuclear energy that's efficient, that's safe. It's just insane. And the other thing, John, these guys don't realize the security effect, or they're not recognizing it, which is one of the primary aspects that we should be strongly voting or fighting against this. So, I encourage your audience to protect Facebook, Protect Our Coast. Look it up, friend it, Defend Brigantine, friend it, and then Save LBI, and you'll learn all about the truth, not what these people are shoving down our throats. And but then it's not a spectator sport. We've got to get involved and donate for these lawsuits on those sites, because each one of them have filed lawsuits to try to stop the windmills.
Rich, you were making reference to a vote by the politicians. Was that the county commissioners?
Well, I was at that, and I was discussing that. That's another vote. I was just talking yesterday. The Senate and the Assembly passed further financing of our taxpayer money. If we had stopped it there, we had a good chance. But you're talking about the commissioners' meeting, former freeholder. I was at that meeting, and they voted. They were supposed to vote for a moratorium, which would make sense. It's really symbolic that they took away the language of a moratorium, and they vote for I believe for a further study, which I was disgusted.
Yeah.
Every one of them should be on board, emailing, encouraging everybody to email and call the senators and to fight about it. So what they passed is nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Yeah,
well,
a shame.
like you said, remember that when come voting time.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just a disgrace. But the problem is like you said. Fortunately, the person that when you met her in Marlton, she realizes about these windmills. A lot of these people who have these multi-million-dollar houses that I'm staring at right now in Longport, they don't, or all along the Jersey Shore that are second homes. They don't realize the impact of what these windmills are going to have. We got to educate them.
Yeah.
And hopefully, once we educate them, they'll jump on board and hopefully fight it too. I mean, they have millions. I'm staring at houses right now. They have millions of dollars invested down here, and it could very well possibly affect the value of real estate.
Absolutely. Rich, thanks for the call. We appreciate it. Good stuff. Talk with a Purpose is the show. Saturdays 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I'm John DeMasi. 609-407-1450 is our number here. 609-407-1450. Let's talk to Al in Corbin City. Al, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Good morning. How you doing?
How you doing? How you doing, Al?
One thing that nobody's speaking about, or at least I haven't heard so far, is how it's going to cost you in fish as food that you eat.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
I'm
right.
a chef.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to destroy commercial fishing. Okay, so you flounder right now, it's around $12 a pound. What do you think it's going to be when it's going to be like $24 a pound?
Whoa, yeah. At least that, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and this is ridiculous. I'm still waiting to hear how much energy the ones in Atlantic City have produced.
Yeah.
I've asked for it. I've asked my senator, not my senator, my congressman, can we get some information about it? I hear nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had them running. If we've had these windmills running for this amount of time, how much energy do they put out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Seth Grossman earlier was on the show, and he said it's not consistent. That's the problem that he sees, that it's not consistent. I mean, energy produced needs to be consistent. And windmills, I mean, if there's no wind, there's no wind. There's no wind. That's all. So
I love it. I mean, it's done a great job for me. But, when the sun's not out, it ain't make electricity.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Yeah.
And guess what? Then I would have to pay for it. Fortunately, I have enough panels that I don't have to because it builds up energy. That's common sense.
Yes.
But I've said to you before that these people in charge now, well, I think this is all crony capitalism anyway.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
If you go back and find where this money's going into Democratic pockets, you'll find out that that's where a lot of this is coming from, all the way from the top. I mean, from Biden all the way down. All this nonsense is all it's doing is putting money in their pockets.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely believe it.
Yeah.
Because we've got enough natural gas that would go for the next 100 years, which burns clean, and yet they're still. They're so crazy. They want to sit there and make commercials, restaurants, take it out and put electric in. Well, we can't even supply the electricity we need now.
Yeah.
It's insane. As I said before, they don't have the brains that God gave geese.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful day.
You too, Al. Thanks for the call. And as we heard earlier on the show, Governor Murphy supposedly, this is what I heard, he's got the maintenance contract for the windmills. Oh, Phil Murphy taking care of himself? Oh, come on. That's not possible. Is it? No, not Phil Murphy. Talk with a Purpose is the show. Saturdays 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I'm John DeMasi. We're talking, hey, it's all on the table. The Supreme Court decisions, which were, some of the best decisions ever with the Supreme Court. And it looks like we're, thankfully, and thank President Trump for his appointees on the Supreme Court. Thankfully, we're maybe swinging back the other way. Did you ever notice, we are a nation of extremes? We go one way, then we go another. Whatever happened to the middle? That's something that we don't seem to hear too much about, the middle. But it seems like we're coming back with this Supreme Court decisions. And the affirmative action thing has long been overdue. Because how many people have just not gotten into a college of their choice because of affirmative action quotas? I'll never forget a couple of years ago, the Academy Awards. Oh, they got to have diversity. Diversity. It's terrible what Hollywood is doing. Wait a minute. Isn't the Academy Awards supposed to be the best performances by an actor or an actress or a movie? Isn't that what it's supposed to be? Yeah, okay. And, well, it certainly, they didn't lead you to believe that that was it. Oh, we got to have diversity. Wait a minute. No, you don't. The best win. Did Denzel Washington win Academy Awards? Yes, he did. Okay. I think he's African American, and he's a great actor. Do you see what I mean? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. 609-407-1450 is our number here in the studio. Yeah, we got to have diversity. Yeah. We got to have diversity. Oh, we got to have diversity in commercials, don't you think? Oh, we got Tom and we got John, and maybe we'll have you at 609-407-1450. We'll come back with more Talk with a Purpose in just a moment.
Want to save money in these inflationary times? Write this number down, 855-910-1246. 855-910-1246. Text your number to that number, and you'll be part of BF Mazzio's Text Message Club, where you'll receive specials and coupons that will save you money. BF Mazzio, the finest fresh fruit and produce you'll find anywhere. Gift baskets, catering for all occasions, and more. 601 New Road, Northfield. Online at bfmazzio.com.
Joe Yakovich is registered with, and securities and investment advisory services are offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC. Member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company. When it comes to you and your family's financial wellness, there are so many things to talk about. We could go on forever. To help guide you along the way, Joe Yakovich has written a book called The Heart of Your Money, Inspiration for Financial Wellness. In the book, Joe talks about longevity, inflation, retirement surprises, and many other topics. For your free copy of The Heart of Your Money, call the office of Joe Yakovich at JML Financial at 856-751-1771 or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. For over 37 years, Joe Yakovich has been helping families throughout the area navigate the difficulties of a sound financial plan. You'll find Joe's approach to be different and not just the cookie-cutter methods that are prevalent in today's world. The path to your financial wellness and or retirement starts with a call to Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group. 856-751-1771. 856-751-1771. Or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com.
We are back here on Talk with a Purpose, 609-407-1450. And again, if you want my email address, I try to give it out more often here today because we have requests for that. jdadv1@comcast.net. jdadv1@comcast.net. That's the email address. Email me suggestions, pro or con, and call me doofus. But don't call me late for dinner, all right? We get them all here, and we'll take them all on. jdadv1@comcast.net. Tom in Little Egg Harbor, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
John, good morning. Happy 4th of July, brother.
Same to you. Same to you.
Listen, diversity, all you can do is look out there and you'll see diversity. Wait a minute. Affirmative action. How come we don't have affirmative action in our major sports right now? You can be a lousy person and pay me $20 million to perform to do nothing then.
Yeah.
In the sports industry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's no affirmative action in Hollywood. I become an actor. I'm a lousy actor, but you're going to pay me $20 million a movie. How's that?
Yeah.
Doesn't work, does it?
No. No.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It only works at the liberal universities. That's it. You know? That's the problem.
Well, you know? I'll tell you. Diversity. Isn't that a joke?
Well, if you look out there, I see in the workforce all different nationalities working. There seems to be diversity for me. I don't know where the left is. They live in a little bubble where they think everything is only one way. It's not the other way. And like you're saying, things are turning around. It goes from left to right. But you know what? It's going to where it belongs. It's going to a spot where it needs to be right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, everything's so wrong the last 2.5 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's time right now to make it happen for everybody, every human race, not just a certain group of people. Give me a break.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And we're all brothers and sisters out there. You know.
That's right.
You know, we look out for each other. We do. A lot of people do. A lot of people are out for themselves, but that's okay. There's a very few minority of that. You know.
Yeah.
But this is the last free country on earth. If you don't like certain things that's going on here, then go live in another country where your rights and your speech has no bearings on anything.
That's right.
You have to go by what the government tells you to do.
That's right.
I mean, is that what they want here? If they do, then they're crazy. They need to leave the country, go to another country.
Yeah.
This is the best country on earth.
That's right.
Opportunity is here. You just got to get up off your lazy butt and do something about it.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
It just, this is America, man, and America comes first. Sorry, American people come first.
Yeah. Well, look at you're in the casino. I mean, I see nothing but diversity in the casino.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah. You know who came by the other day? Joe Yakovich was on his bike. He came by and said hi to us. I finally got to see what he looked like in person. I hear him all the time.
Yeah.
What a super guy.
Yeah.
Nice person.
Yeah. Well, he's very active is what I can tell you.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
I mean, if he could, he would ride his bike in here. You know?
Really nice guy, really nice person.
Yeah, yeah. But thanks for the call, Tom. We appreciate it. Oh, hey, Joe Yakovich gets around. I'll bet you he biked over to Tom and he said, "Are you Tom?" And just to introduce, let him know I'm on the radio. He'll be here next week with us here on Talk with a Purpose. Let's talk to John in Ocean City. John, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Yes, long lining for commercial fishing is crucial for that profession. But that's going to go out with the dinosaurs. Hey, horse and buggy thinking. So some aquatic mammals, whales, dolphins, porpoises will have to find a new place to live. Hey, you have to crack a few eggs, right? Meanwhile, we have to pay $25 for tilapia, for a pound of tilapia, or $50 for a pound of flounder. Hey, the Bidens will still eat that, right?
Well, they can afford it, right?
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot. Yeah, that they can afford it. That's right. And also this critical race theory nonsense, which is putting a further divide between the races when we need to be united. If ever we need to be united as now. And that mothers and fathers are speaking out against having their children butchered. Now, if you suffer from gender dysphoria, and it is rare and it is real, but it's rare, and you're brainwashing little kids that they're born in the wrong body, and then they get up on some butcher's slab, if that's what it is, or operating table, or whatever you want to call it, and then they have their sexual organs removed, they're permanently maimed. They can't change their mind later on. It's over for them. So if parents speak out against that, they become domestic terrorists. Joe Biden's not standing up against that. In fact, he supports it. He supports the windmills, and he's also giving our surplus gas over to the Chinese. So that's what he's doing for America. But I think that when President Trump or President DeSantis, I don't care, either one, I'll vote for either one. When they have that presidential debate with that dumbcough or doofus or creep or whatever you want to call him, they should bring all that stuff up the way Reagan brought it up with Carter. Now, I did not like President Reagan when he first came on the scene. But the more I saw him, the more I liked him, and the less I loved Jimmy Carter. But yeah, but they're the hack those, and we're the McCoys. We still have to keep on telling the truth anyway, even if our voice is crying in the wilderness. Up the rebels, down the British.
All right, John, thanks for the call. I like the way he abruptly ends it. We don't know if he's ending or not. 609-407-1450. Couple of open lines here on Talk with a Purpose every Saturday, 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. We were talking earlier about Justice Clarence Thomas. And, of course, he's an African-American. And he really rose up from the ranks. I mean, how did he become a Supreme Court justice? Did he have obstacles? Yeah. Let's read his opinion on the Supreme Court decision. The solution to our nation's racial problems thus cannot come from policies grounded in affirmative action or some other conception of equity. Racialism simply cannot be undone by different or more racialism. Instead, the solution announced in the second founding is incorporated in our Constitution, that we are all equal and should be treated equally before the law without regard to our race. Simple and effective. That's really what it is. The opinions of the six, the majority, well, the three, and not because they're women, Ketanji Brown Jackson, Elena Kagan, and Sonia Sotomayor, they're on the dissenting side. But that would figure because they're liberals. But the truth of the matter is that I think, and we seem to all agree on this, that they righted the ship. They really did. And we're going back the other way, which is where we should be. You know, back to this Hollywood thing. And it was a couple of years ago, they said, and I remember they're saying, oh my God, they're all white people that are nominated. Well, maybe because they were the best. And that's the narrative that the liberals want you to think. Oh, you're white, you're privileged. Well, no, that's not the case. If you are nominated for an Academy Award or you're nominated for whatever it is, it's based on merit, or it's based on maybe the Golden Globes, the people vote for that. But it's based on that. It isn't based on white, black, or Asian, or whatever it is. I mean, this year, didn't an Asian win the Academy Award, I think? But, you know, it's, I mean, they just spew this stuff that it's because they're white. I mean, it's just too much. It's too much. But it looks like it's coming around. But you can expect, and I'm even expecting it like right away, that the court challenges are expected because the colleges, they want to continue to seek this diversity. This is their calling card, that everything has got to be diverse. But what if you just let it happen naturally? If an Asian kid is qualified, he gets in. If a black kid is qualified, he gets in. If a white kid is qualified, he gets in. Why do we not have this kind of a system? Let it just happen. And the system will take care of itself. But no, you got to have more black, more Asian, more whatever it is. And you saw where Harvard, and really the lawsuit was brought up against Harvard, and I think it was North Carolina too, that they weren't letting Asians in because they had the quota for blacks. So is that diversity? So you want to question diversity itself. What is diversity? I mean, this thing has just continued to fester and fester, and it's just gotten to the point where it's been, I mean, we've had quotas for 30 years, 40 years. But now we're finally coming back to some semblance of normalcy. Okay? And again, we want to thank President Trump because it was he who got all these judges on the Supreme Court, Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, and who was the other one? Amy Coney Barrett. Those three. And, of course, everybody said, oh, well, now the conservative court, that's really going to be horrible. They're going to strike down everything. Well, they haven't struck down everything. We haven't talked yet about our favorite whipping boy, Hunter Biden, because I understand that the Republicans have more questions in the Hunter Biden case. Are you ready for this? House Republicans have sent a letter to the Justice Department requesting that FBI and department officials in the Hunter Biden tax investigation appear before a House committee for transcribed interviews. Oh boy. The letter includes requests for 9 Justice Department and 2 FBI officials to face questions over the investigation of President Joe Biden's son. No, Joe Biden's son, he didn't do anything. Come on. He's clean cut. You're right. The request comes after 2 IRS agents who supervised the investigation of Hunter Biden told lawmakers on Capitol Hill that Justice Department officials slowed and stymied the investigation of Hunter's finances. Oh boy, the plot thickens. 609-407-1450 is our number here. We got a couple open lines. 609-407-1450. It's Talk with a Purpose, Saturdays 9 till noon here at WPG Talk Radio 95.5. And I'm John DeMasi. We're coming back with more Talk with a Purpose in just a moment.
If you're interested in driving one of the finest automobiles on the market today, then you'll want to check out all of the fabulous new and pre-owned Lexus at Lexus of Atlantic City. Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. Driving a Lexus is like no other vehicle on the market. Test drive one for yourself at Lexus of Atlantic City. Whether it's new or pre-owned, you'll be more than satisfied. In fact, Lexus is consistently #1 when it comes to customer satisfaction. Visit Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. Or you can check out their outstanding selection of new, pre-owned, and L-certified pre-owned vehicles on their website, LexusOfAtlanticCity.com. That's LexusOfAtlanticCity.com. Or if you want more information, call 609-641-0008. Lexus of Atlantic City, now celebrating their 26th year in the area. A dealership that you'll enjoy. No pressure, no gimmicks, no hassle, no hype. Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. And remember, always online at LexusOfAtlanticCity.com.
When it comes to you and your family's financial wellness, there are so many things to talk about. We could go on forever. To help guide you along the way, Joe Yakovich has written a book called The Heart of Your Money, Inspiration for Financial Wellness. In the book, Joe talks about longevity, inflation, retirement surprises, and many other topics. For your free copy of The Heart of Your Money, call the office of Joe Yakovich at JML Financial at 856-751-1771 or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. For over 37 years, Joe Yakovich has been helping families throughout the area navigate the difficulties of a sound financial plan. You'll find Joe's approach to be different and not just the cookie-cutter methods that are prevalent in today's world. The path to your financial wellness and or retirement starts with a call to Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group. 856-751-1771. 856-751-1771. Or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com.
Joe Yakovich is registered with, and securities and investment advisory services are offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC. Member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
Your WPG Talk Radio 95.5 AccuWeather forecast for South Jersey. This afternoon, humid, times of sun and clouds. Smoke from distant wildfires creating reduced air quality, high 84. Cloudy, humid with a thunderstorm tonight, low 69. A thick cloud cover, humid with a couple of heavy thunderstorms late in the day tomorrow. Air quality improves, though, with a high 83 to wrap the weekend. I'm AccuWeather's Ruth O'Brien on WPG Talk Radio 95.5.
We are back here on Talk with a Purpose. And again, we got some open lines here. If you want to jump in here on the show, 609-407-1450. 609-407-1450. We are certainly glad that we have our phones back today. Oh, sure does make our life easier. 609-407-1450. And my email address, jdadv1@comcast.net. That's our email address. You want to send me some programs, some information, some anything, pro or con. And you heard earlier the email that I got from Petter or Peter or whatever his name is. Called me a doofus. That's part of the territory here when you do a show like this. You can get called anything. Doofus, whatever. 609-407-1450. Back to this Hunter Biden thing. So, by the way, Hunter was, he had been paying child support, $20,000 a month. $20,000 a month.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He's going to be, he's going to have it reduced, all right? So, but this is the child that he's had with, I think she's, is this the stripper that he had the child with? London Roberts, spelled L-U-N-D-E-N. Yeah, he's going to have that reduced. So, it's just too much. So we'll pick that up. More on Hunter and his investigation. Linda in Absecon. Linda, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Is it really you?
Yes, you've been absent from our show for a while, huh?
I really am. I have to figure out how to do that hookup that the guys did. I mean, what good friends you have.
Well,
really,
it's kind of a secret, so we can't divulge. But
oh, okay, all right. Well, maybe Greg will tell me,
okay.
or maybe Andy will tell me, or maybe
yeah, all right.
Will tell me.
Okay.
I mean, so but that I was really impressed. I thought that was really nice. I thought the guys were great for doing that, and because it's talk radio, loves its loves its callers, and Sarah.
Yeah, how about that?
Rock
How about that?
And I'm thinking if they only knew. I mean, Sarah isn't some wilting flower that can't take being hung up on the radio or things like that. I mean, for heaven's sake, she used to call. She was a Rush Limbaugh caller like Eric.
Yeah.
Eric from Margate. He would call. I think he called maybe 10 or 12 times. Nobody could get into Rush. I think I tried for 30 years, maybe.
Yeah,
Could never get in.
But the
Sarah
funny thing is, Linda, when Sarah called here in the beginning,
I know.
I'll never forget, and this is one of the lines that will live in infamy. She said, "Donald Trump could poop in your hand, and you would say he didn't do it." She said that here on this show. So to go from that to now really for Trump, I mean, I didn't do it, and I was accused of, you talked to that poor girl, and what poor girl? She has a mind of her own, and she said that nobody talks her into anything.
And Sarah, apart from politics, and the way different people feel about politics, Sarah's always been a very smart girl.
Yes, she has. Yeah.
So what's with this air quality? I mean, really, seriously, what's going on? I see over here in Absecon, it's 84, and I get it from AccuWeather, and then yesterday it was like 164.
Yeah.
And I can remember I think it was the day before that. I'm standing out back, I'm talking to my neighbor, and all of a sudden I couldn't breathe. I started struggling.
Yeah.
It was a few days ago. And I thought, what is this? And I thought, well, maybe it's just anxiety because I'm looking up at the sky and the sky's just too hazy. And I'm thinking, no, but then I realized, I just didn't feel right from it, so I came in the house.
Yeah, I think it's that Canadian wildfires again.
Yeah. So where are the chemical? Are there strange chemicals in it? I think I was reading where it could be that the chemicals that are in it probably are what go in the fires when they have them out west. That we don't even think about the fires out west. We just think the people will be okay. But no, I'm not liking these Canadian fires, and I have a very fertile imagination, too fertile right now, because I think we're losing the country, and I think everything's done on purpose.
Yes, that's right. You may want to come to the shore, Linda.
I'm at the shore.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I'm talking about Brigantine or Atlantic City.
But you're not so good.
Well,
Brigantine's not so hot. I looked at your quality. Our daughter's down. She has a place in Margate. Margate's just a little better than Absecon.
Well,
AccuWeather, for the air quality, and AccuWeather. And,
that's where I got it from. They said, "Oh, the shore is where you want to be because it's not as bad." so much for what they say, right? Linda, thanks for the call, and good hearing from you. Eventually, it was 3 weeks that we hadn't heard from Linda. DJ is back from Summers Point. DJ, good morning.
Yeah, John, I usually don't call in twice, but I had a couple of things I wanted to mention first hour.
Yeah.
Or the second hour.
I wanted to ask you about that Marine in New York City. Is that a disgrace or what? That he was that he's being charged with criminally negligent homicide. He could get 4 years in jail. What do you think about that?
All I can think about it, it's New York.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, enough said.
Yeah.
Outcome, again, it's New York.
Yeah.
But he did what he had to do. He possibly saved his life and others. But again, it's New York.
Yeah. Yeah, that homeless guy, he was saying that he wanted to die. He was shouting that, "I want to die." I mean, so this guy saved everybody, and a few bystanders got involved. He saved them. I don't understand it.
And I find it also, since other people in that subway helped the Marine, how come they weren't charged with something?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But they will probably testify in his defense and offering, they were in fear.
Yeah.
But that's the prosecutors of New York. They're liberal. Hey, one time within the last year and a half, they charged a store owner that was being hit and beaten and he stabbed the assailant, and they charged him with a similar charge, and a few days later they withdrew the charges.
Jeez.
Because they're not bright. I'm sorry. They try to appease too many people.
Yeah. So
we know what it's about, and that's just unfortunate. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. What's on your mind?
About another trial thing, and you talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't know it even reached the trial point, is that officer from the Parkland incident, he was found not guilty this week.
Yeah, I know. We talked, I mentioned it briefly, yeah.
I'm sorry, because
No, it's okay. I wanted to get your comments on that. What'd you think?
Well, I read what some law professors had to say and this and that. Everybody's an expert.
Yeah.
It was a stretch on the prosecutors.
Yeah.
All right. I think they wanted to say, he has to be held accountable for something, but that just wasn't the proper charge.
No, because he didn't pull the trigger.
Neglect.
Yeah.
And he's got to live with what he did or what he didn't do the rest of his life. I don't know if he lost any pension benefits, salary, etc.
No, I don't either. No,
he lost the most important thing any individual can have, and it is in your legacy.
Yeah,
and that's your reputation and your name, and he lost that.
Yeah, that's so he'll pay in another way for that. But he said that someday he wants to talk to the parents.
Well, maybe that'll help, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean,
training's your training.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it. Sorry.
He's just, I don't know. It's just.
And at the same time, you had the Volva, Texas, or whatever.
Yeah.
No charges have been brought against any of those officers. A few resigned and stuff, and that's over a year old. And look what they did. They stayed outside the door for, an hour?
77 minutes.
There you go. Every case is different, though, John.
Yeah, that's, I tell you.
And one other thing. This would be great. This would send a message to the Department of Justice. Everybody talks about this done deal between the prosecutor and Hunter's team of lawyers.
Yeah.
You know who can throw the monkey wrench into this?
Who's that?
The judge has the final say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you read, they don't advertise it. They'll just touch on it briefly. It'll say pending approval of the judge. All judge got is, what are you, crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a problem with this.
Yeah. He could. Yeah, that's true.
Do you want me to cite cases, Mr. Prosecutor?
Yeah. Yeah.
You better go back in the room and work something out. But I'm not accepting this plea.
Yeah, he could. He could. That's. We'll see.
And then it's going to be brought up. Well, he was a Biden appointed judge, or he was a Obama appointed judge, or he was a Trump appointed judge. But hey, if he's a fair-minded judge, you're going to say, hey, you better work something else out, because this is just totally ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, DJ, thanks for calling back. We appreciate it. Talk with the Purpose is the show, Saturdays 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I'm John DeMasi, 609-407-1450. We have time for a couple of more calls. If you want to jump in here on anything we're talking about, Supreme Court, many decisions that we like. Also, Hunter Biden, the New York City Marine who's charged with criminally negligent homicide, the police officer in Parkland, Florida. It's all on the table. 609-407-1450. I'm John DeMasi. Final thoughts on today's Talk with a Purpose after these words.
When it comes to you and your family's financial wellness, there are so many things to talk about. We could go on forever. To help guide you along the way, Joe Yakovich has written a book called The Heart of Your Money, Inspiration for Financial Wellness. In the book, Joe talks about longevity, inflation, retirement surprises, and many other topics. For your free copy of The Heart of Your Money, call the office of Joe Yakovich at JML Financial at 856-751-1771 or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com. For over 37 years, Joe Yakovich has been helping families throughout the area navigate the difficulties of a sound financial plan. You'll find Joe's approach to be different and not just the cookie-cutter methods that are prevalent in today's world. The path to your financial wellness and or retirement starts with a call to Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group. 856-751-1771. 856-751-1771. Or email Joe at jyakovich@brokersifs.com.
Joe Yakovich is registered with, and securities and investment advisory services are offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC. Member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
Want to save money in these inflationary times? Write this number down, 855-910-1246. 855-910-1246. Text your number to that number, and you'll be part of BF Mazzio's Text Message Club, where you'll receive specials and coupons that will save you money. BF Mazzio, the finest fresh fruit and produce you'll find anywhere. Gift baskets, catering for all occasions, and more. 601 New Road, Northfield. Online at bfmazzio.com.
If you're interested in driving one of the finest automobiles on the market today, then you'll want to check out all of the fabulous new and pre-owned Lexus at Lexus of Atlantic City. Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. Driving a Lexus is like no other vehicle on the market. Test drive one for yourself at Lexus of Atlantic City. Whether it's new or pre-owned, you'll be more than satisfied. In fact, Lexus is consistently #1 when it comes to customer satisfaction. Visit Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. Or you can check out their outstanding selection of new, pre-owned, and L-certified pre-owned vehicles on their website, LexusOfAtlanticCity.com. That's LexusOfAtlanticCity.com. Or, if you want more information, call 609-641-0008. Lexus of Atlantic City, now celebrating their 26th year in the area. A dealership that you'll enjoy. No pressure, no gimmicks, no hassle, no hype. Lexus of Atlantic City, 3169 Fire Road in EHT. And remember, always online at LexusOfAtlanticCity.com.
Back here on Talk with a Purpose. Again, my email address, jdadv1@comcast.net. jdadv1@comcast.net. And if you want to like us on Facebook, our Facebook address is @Talk with a Purpose. @Talk with a Purpose, the Facebook address. And of course, it is Talk with a Purpose every Saturday 9 till noon, WPG Talk Radio 95.5. I guess I'll be doing some grilling this weekend because I got my brand new grill. Huh? How about that, huh? Oh, and you should have seen those guys trying to carry it up the steps. Oh, boy. That was an adventure unto itself. But back to this Hunter Biden thing. He is, and DJ just told us it's up to the judge. He is due in federal court in Wilmington on July 26th. Oh, boy. July 26th. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that after that. And that's where he will enter his guilty plea, which must be approved by the judge. So we'll see what happens there. Among the officials included on this House Republicans letter was Jim Jordan, we know that name, Jason Smith of Missouri, and James Comer of Kentucky. Is David Weiss. Now, he's the Delaware U.S. attorney who oversaw the case. Weiss was appointed by Donald Trump and is a longtime figure in Delaware legal circles. This really gets involved because one of the agents involved in the investigation, Gary Shapley, challenged congressional testimony from Attorney General Merrick Garland that Weiss had full authority to lead the investigation. This gets really complicated here, and Garland has stood by his comments. This could blow up because of this letter and because of the judge, so we'll see. But a spokesperson for the Justice Department confirmed that Garland received the letter, but he declined to comment further. The Attorney General said last week that he would not prevent Weiss from testifying about whistleblowers' allegations. So there's so many twists and turns to this case, but you got to believe that Hunter Biden is really going to get off. I mean, do you expect anything else? I don't. Just the way it goes. And I just wanted to comment about, this is totally off the subject, but I want to leave you with this comment. Did you notice that there is a serious lack of customer service today? I mean, it's like you got to do everything yourself. They're taking more and more away from employees and say, oh, let the people do it themselves. We don't have to do it. I went to the airport, Philadelphia airport. I was taking a brief trip this week. So I have one bag that I'm checking in. Okay? And first of all, you got to go to the kiosk. It says your locator. You check your locator and put it in. It says, oh, you're checked in now, and you got to do all this, and you get the bag thing. Oh, I talked the agent into tagging my bag. She did it for me. You're supposed to do it yourself. Okay. All right, so she does that. She says, okay, take the bag and put it on the belt. Now it's like I have to take like 5 steps. They used to do that. Remember that? They used to do it. Now they don't do it. You got to take your bag, put it on yourself. And how about when you go in the supermarket? You got to bring your own bag, and then you got to bag it yourself. Where, oh, where is customer service? And don't talk to me about these bags, because I don't care what they say. The lobbying group for the supermarkets and for stores and even Target, they got to be in on this. Pass a law that says we can't give out bags. So you go to Target, you get 27 things, and you stick them in your cart. Now what do you do with it? Oh, you got to take the cart out to your car, and then you unload it. Customer service, it's gone. We got to bring that back. We brought back affirmative action or lack of affirmative action, so we got to bring back this, customer service. And with that, we're going to put the wraps on another edition of Talk with a Purpose. Thanks to Chris Coleman, our program director and producer, for his usual excellent job. And thanks to you, the listeners. You know what I say. Without you, we don't have a show. I'm John DeMasi. Have a safe, a happy, a healthy, and a great 4th of July. We'll talk to you next Saturday, 9 till noon. Talk with a Purpose right here on WPG Talk Radio 95.5. You take care.
The preceding program was paid for and presented by John DeMasi.